Check, check. All right, this one's working. Good morning, Raptor Freaks. Lexi Otts here. Raptors lost the Nuggets last night, the champs, and they played a pretty valiant game for most of the game. The first half was amazing, really, really good first half. And then the second half was really, really, it was what it was. The champs weren't going to lay down and just let us beat them. They didn't take us totally seriously for most of the game. Michael Malone saying after the game when he saw that it quickly and all these guys were out, Gary Trent, Chris Boucher, he was like, yeah, this is going to be a lot easier than it would have been if these guys were playing. So in some ways, this is something that, we we just had to weather. This was a lesson. In some ways, playing against this team is partly just kind of like, gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough because these people are the champions and they're a very, very good team. They got Nikola Jokic, they got Jamal Murray, and we saw these guys step up and play in a majorly good way against us uh, in this game. So it's like, what can you do? What can you do? Seriously, what can you do? It is what it is. All right, I'm gonna try and get the comments from the last stream somehow, some way, so I can read them still, guys. So bear with me real quick. Once again, YouTube was doing something screwy with not connecting to my microphone, so I had to remake the stream, and I lost all your comments because of that. So I'm gonna try and find the comments now on the other stream still. If I can just dig up the old stream that I deleted. I didn't delete it. I just hid it from public at this point. I just got to find it real quick. All right. Yeah. So last night was a good game in general. I see that some people online are mad. It's kind of stupid. Once again, we're getting the separation of true fans and not really fans in the way people react to things that are happening with the Raptors right now. I'm going to say this once again. A fan supports their team. And people that aren't acting in supportive ways towards the Raptors, you show your face. That's all I can judge it on. I don't know you as a person. I don't know what you look like. I don't know anything about you. You could be somebody who's wearing a Sixers jersey at home when you talk online. So I'm really going to just determine whether you are a real Raptors fan on whether you are actually speaking about something that supports the Raptors, or if you're just some fucking negging, just little piece of shit. I'm just going to say you're not a fan. You can say you're a fan. You can have a handle that says "We the North." You could have this on there. You could have this on there. I won't believe you're a fan because a fan supports a team. A fan looks to the positive. A fan looks for things that are good, that are coming up in the future. And there's a lot of that right now for the Raptors. And there's a lot of casual fans out there talking out their ass and saying stupid shit. And in fact, the intelligence of the fans is lacking. You can tell from people that are being critical about the game last night are really dumb. Like they're saying things like, "Oh, they had a 22-point lead and they blew it by the end of it." Do y'all not understand what's going on here? Do y'all not understand basketball? Do you not understand that there's an article on the front page of ESPN right now that says 20 is the new 5 or something? That they're saying 20-point leads don't mean jack shit in today's NBA. All right, go on, Siren. Go on, police idiots, jackasses. Go on, do whatever fuck you're doing, you fascists. All right. But I'm just saying, yeah, if y'all write it in here, I'm not gonna be able to find the other stream because honestly, it didn't work. So whatever you said in the last stream, please just write it again. I know it may not be always that easy and stuff like that, but it is what it is. I gotta do what I gotta do when I'm dealing with stuff. All right, Mo's in first. Good morning, Raptor Freak family. Good morning to you, Superfan Monique. Always good to see you. Always thank you for your write-ups and your undying support for the Raptors, a real one, a one that shows how to be a fan of the Raptors. I just don't understand this. I don't understand how stupid a lot of people. I don't think they're Raptors fans. I think they're just fucking other people coming in and trolling and just talking out their ass to cause confusion. I think that they see us in a bad place and they want to keep us down. So they come in and make it even more confusing. So they say a whole bunch of crazy stuff. In some ways, they don't matter. What matters is Canadians playing in the court last night. What matters is the amazing job that Darko did last night. Honestly, he was a fantastic coach last night in a lot of different ways. And you know what? I can hold my head up high. I can wear my Raptors NBA champions t-shirt today and feel really proud about the Raptors, the direction they're going in, and some of the things we saw. I mean, what is wrong with people that are upset about last night? We're missing 7 of our players right now. And not just that, most of those starters, pretty much all of them except for one, RJ Barrett. And what is wrong with y'all? Do y'all not understand that if we have certain people, we do even better against them? In fact, we hung with them. In fact, we kicked that team's butt in the first half. What's wrong with y'all? Of course they're going to try and do adjustments. They have a champion coach. They have a champion team. At halftime, they're going to come in and say, "Look, we're down by 20. We need to change this." Of course they're going to try and come back. Now, are we going to be able to match them with no bench? Honestly, like seriously, all of our good players, if hardly any of them are available, we put almost everybody in the front starting lineup. The bench lineup's not going to be as strong. And how are we supposed to deal with a championship team and their depth and their experience? It's like a lot of people said after the game, whether it's RJ Barrett, Jamal Murray, Coach Malone, Darko, that the experience of that team has gone through a lot of trials and tribulations. The Nuggets have been together for a while, and that is a big reason why they have the experience and they understand these kind of things, and that's a big, huge factor in why they won last night. That this is the thing that people need to understand with all these negative people that want to tear down shit over and over again. Every time you tear down something, you have to start all the way the fuck over. And in some ways, other fan nations will come into our fan nation, act like they're Raptor fans, and just want us to spin our wheels, to continuously fire our coach, to continuously throw out our good players, trade OG, trade Pascal, trade. They're going to hear stupid shit like trade Scotty. I don't want Scotty anymore. They're going to fire our front office. These fucking people that do this shit do not want good things for this team. Everybody who wants the disposable things on our team, you're fucking idiots. First of all, our franchise does things the right way the first time. When they hire a coach, they do it right. When they draft somebody, they do it right. Masai and Bobby ain't fucking around. If y'all don't fucking understand the front office yet, that they're doing a good job and they're kicking ass at their job and they don't make mistakes hardly ever. The thing that y'all don't understand is that you fucking idiots that fucking want everything to keep changing and change this, change that. Well, you've seen how much change is disruptive to our team. Do you not understand the product of what's happening with our team in this part of the season right now is because of things that you guys have asked for? Let's trade these guys. Let's start over. Let's rebuild. Let's get rid of Nick Nurse. Let's start with a new coach. Every single time you either get rid of your coach, every single time you reset your front office, every single time you reset your roster, it's starting over. And when you start over, you don't have the things the Nuggets have. The Nuggets have built their ship for 6-7 years. So you guys want to keep starting over every year or so. We're not going to get anywhere, you dumbasses. Do you not understand that casual, unintelligent, dumbass Raptor fans, they're negative and trying to say, oh, fire the coach, do this, get rid of the front office, do this. You guys are idiots. Because every single time you make major moves with your front office, with your franchise, with your players, with your coach, you have to reset and start over to a degree. Now, if you're one of those fans from another nation, you're trying to come in and confuse things and say, yeah, keep renewal, keep resetting. Don't get anywhere. Spin your damn wheels, Raptors. You casual fans that want all that shit, that's what you want? Because that's what you will not get that. Fuck that. We're too smart. Y'all are idiots. We won't listen to you. And you can fucking be twisted in the wind for the rest of your life, all miserable because the Raptors won't listen to you and they won't do shit like, oh, they won't fire their coach because I hate him. I hate him. He's not a real coach. He's not a real coach. Hey, fire him. Why is he even on here? Get off the Reddit, bro. Fucking dumbasses. Go fucking watch the Leafs. Go get into baseball right now. You negative ninny pieces of shit. I will judge you for your comments. And if your comments aren't helpful, you can criticize the team. Just be constructive. Do it in a way that's helpful. Like, give us solutions and say, hey, if we do this, this could be better for the team. Don't just put it down and just say stupid shit about it, because that's not helpful. And that's not what a fan does. And all you fucking fans are acting like that on social media right now. You're not fans. I'm going to tell you that right now. Whether you run a YouTube channel like me, whether you fucking just opine on Twitter with dumbass little witty tweets that you think are funny, but nobody fucking thinks you're funny because you're a piece of shit. Whatever it is, I'm judging you individually solely on what you say and what comes to your mouth. And if it's helpful, I'll look at you. Okay, you can be a negative fan that's a real fan, but if as long as you have your right intentions, you're constructively criticizing and you're not just insulting, you're not just putting down, you're not just living this little ego life where you have to have something you can kick while it's down so you feel better about yourself. That's half of what this shit is. Y'all are miserable losers. And you need to kick a team while it's down to make yourself feel better. Oh, I can talk shit about the Raptors because I love that team. They're my favorite team. Well, why do you abuse it? Why is it your favorite team if you fucking hate it so much? Like, seriously, some of y'all start looking in the mirror if you call yourself a Raptors fan and understand what your intentions are with this team. What is your fucking intention with this team? Just to come off as like, I'm a funny guy on Twitter. That's all I care about. I don't care if they win or not. I just want to be a snarky smartass and have a following and have people like comment and like my comments because I think I'm funny. I think I'm a funny dude. So I'm going to make a witty little Raptors related fucking Twitter account and talk stupid shit. What the fuck, you losers? You aren't important. None of this shit matters. And you guys don't have the best intentions for this team. That's the problem. Y'all aren't positive fans. Y'all aren't for the team. Y'all don't support the team, ups and downs. You're not a fan. You're a snarky little shit that's on social media, is what you are. You're a snarky little shit, whether you're in the comments section on Raptors interviews after the game on YouTube, whether you're in the fucking Twitter sphere, whether you're fucking Reddit, wherever the fuck you fucking troll pieces of shit, negative ass, non-real Toronto Raptors fans are. You can proclaim, oh, I'm a Raptors fan. I love them. Well, your actions will tell me whether you are or not. You don't get to decide. I'll look at your shit and I'll say, yeah, this motherfucker ain't a real one. This motherfucker is not a real fan of this team. And it's going to be easy to discern. All y'all know too. You go in there and you can find them. You can see them. I say don't even go in those comments. They're just fucking full of dumbasses, honestly. So stupid. So stupid. All right, Nako's first. Nako's saying RJ and Grady's assists were insane good effort. Wish the Nuggets didn't catch on to our schemes. All right, let me break this down. I was super impressed with the pinpoint passing of RJ Barrett and Grady Dick. RJ getting 9 assists, Grady getting 7. Both career highs. RJ tying a career high from before. Grady getting his career high, first ever, 7 assists. The thing that these guys did was they showed a pinpoint accuracy in traffic where there was one pass that RJ threw to Grady that was, oh my gosh, thread the needle. Like, I didn't know that these guys had those kind of chops. Grady had one too that was absolutely difficult. Like, these are high degree of difficulty passes. The in traffic, pinpoint, get a layup kind of shit that they did last night. I really love it. Once again, the pointless system is really going to be awesome with us. Kelly, same thing. He's an amazing passer. Looking for people, making the extra pass, making incredibly smart decisions. Olynyk, RJ, and Grady, amazing passers. In some ways, I was worried about last night because we weren't going to have Emmanuel quickly. No Scotty, no Emmanuel. Are we going to have problems with passing and getting the ball around? We did not, which was interesting. The fill in there and the idea of what we did was very, very interesting. In fact, Darko started Bruce Brown at point guard. I didn't totally agree with that, but it is what it is. In some ways, he wanted to make Bruce Brown get his homecoming to come back and see the Denver fans. It was funny how he mysteriously plays last night. Seriously. It's funny how he mysteriously plays all of a sudden when we go to Denver, but he's not available for recent games because of his knee. Yeah, that's Tampa tank kind of bullshit right there. And also, you look at how quick our injury list grew yesterday during the day. Now, Chris has a tear in his MCL from that bullshit that happened with Chris Murray. And he may be done for the season now. Now, Gary and IQ, I don't know what they were sick with. I don't know why they sat out yesterday. End of Tampa season. That's all I got to say on this. So in some ways, the way the game went down yesterday, casuals and idiots and not really real Raptors fans that are upset, is exactly perfect how it went down. If you really think about it, yesterday's outcome and everything that happened was exactly perfect for the Raptors. We lost. We increased our chances to keep that pick. And in some ways, that is a win. That is very much a win. The fact that we kicked some butt against the champs and did what we did, that's a win. We looked really good. That's a win. And in fact, I'm looking at it now, and our chances for keeping our pick went up even higher because of this yesterday. Let's look at the real time stats on our chance to keep our pick. Right now it went down 2 more points. So, I mean, we went up 2 more points. Before it was 13% will miss our pick. Now it's only 11% will miss our pick. So just losing to the Nuggets last night increased our chances of keeping our pick by 2%. That's telling you right there. Boom goes the dynamite. We keep our pick 2% better because of this. I mean, we kicked ass. We beat their ass for a half. We looked real good. We had half our team. We were growing things. I was saying the amazing things about Darko and how he's doing this. I mean, his plan against Jokic was beautiful. I mean, casuals won't look at the things that he did X and O's wise that really worked, that were badass. I mean, he was daring. He was putting smaller guys on Jokic, and it was succeeding. He was carding Jokic in a very, very good way. Jokic was stymied. Both him and Murray didn't go off in the first half. They went off in the second half, but they did not go off in the first half. And we were doing a really good job defending the champions, the NBA champions for the first half. And we outscored them, and we had a 20-point lead. It's amazing, beautiful thing. I don't understand why people are so mad about this. You're mad because we didn't win? Well, dummy, get with the program, what we're doing right now, you dumbass. We're not supposed to be winning right now. Don't you know? Shh. Tank word. T. T, T, T. We're not supposed to win right now, you dumbasses. So why not look good against the champs, kick their ass for a half, and then conveniently lose by the end of it? Yeah, I'm not happy. I'm not unhappy about this. That's why I'm wearing the Raptors NBA champion shirt today, because the NBA champs got their ass beat yesterday for a half of the game, and then they woke up. They started taking things seriously. They went into overtime, as Michael Porter Jr. said in his interview last night. They went into overtime, and they realized, you know what, we're not taking this game seriously enough. It's natural to kind of take it easy when you see all the injuries on the other side. You see their record, and you think, oh, this can be an easy game. That did contribute to part of what happened in the first half. That, you know, they saw the injuries, and they did. It was exactly what we thought. It's like, oh, they're taking us lightly. And well, they learned not to do that by halftime, and that they needed to be more serious and buckle down and try and get Jamal and Joker going. That was very important. There's a really fun Canadian content last night with RJ, Kelly, and Jamal Murray out there playing very high level. All three of them playing a very, very high level. Yeah, the Nugget. You wish the Nuggets didn't catch on to our schemes. I think they just started playing. Honestly, the first half they were kind of just on cruise control, and we were really giving a good effort, and it showed. We were getting to loose balls. We were very active on defense. We were causing turnovers. They were missing shots. We were hitting big threes. Boom, 22-point lead. And that's fantastic. Being able to do that to the Nuggets is awesome. People that watched the game, we enjoyed it. It's just I knew that it would be hard to sustain the whole 48, and that the Nuggets, being who the Nuggets are going to make a really strong effort to try and overcome it and beat it. And like the ESPN article saying today, there's an article on ESPN right now that says 20 is the old 12. Why no lead is safe in the NBA anymore. In fact, that's a red flag to me right there. The NBA is talking about this, and then they give a good example on the court that night. You know, another thing that's really fishy and weird is there was a 905 game last night that went down pretty much to the same storyline. We kicked the other team's ass for most of the game, and then boom, in the last quarter, we lost the lead and lost at the end of the game. I hate how much Raptors 905 mirrors the Raptors with outcomes right around the same time. It's very weird how that happens. So Eric Curry or whoever is going to coach that team next year, y'all need to set the table better and win games consistently. If there's any kind of correlation between the 905 outcomes and the Raptors outcomes, which seems like there is, maybe it's the refs practicing shit behind the scenes. Maybe they're so manipulative they get this shit down. The NBA making an article saying 20 is the new 12 and that no lead is safe. And then we see an example of it that very day in our NBA game. That's fishy. And then the fact that both teams did the same thing with their games last night. Like we could go look at the GameCast thing on ESPN's box scores where they show the teams and how they were separating with the line, and you'll see something very similar in the patterns where there was a section where the Raptors teams were absolutely kicking the other team's butt, and then in the fourth quarter, the other team overcomes them and beats them. Yeah, it's too bad. It's too bad. In some ways, we don't want the L's, but we do. We do want the L's. That's right. Let's see. Cool Cat saying, "Good morning, Rapid Freak crew. It was a great team performance." I agree. It was a really good team performance. I totally agree with you on that. Yeah, I'm sorry about messing up the stream of the other one. And you guys, thank you for filling it up on this one. And I don't know how to, I'm not going to be able to go recover those comments, unfortunately. If there's anything important from those other comments that you want to have said, just please write them in again. I really do apologize about that. Sometimes the microphone just does not connect to the computer for some reason on the first try. But I reset some things and boom, I set it up and then it worked. Let's see. Yeah, Cool Cat. Good to see you this morning. Fiercely said, "Good morning, fam, and happy Tuesday. Not mad at the loss. We're finding solutions to work while being shorthanded, trying new combinations." Yeah, yeah. I felt like this team had a lot of good spirit and vibes to it. You know, even in games like before this with the old team with Siakam and Anunoby and all those guys, the vibes would never get up like this. Like in some ways, like having those guys out right now and all sitting on the bench, Gary, Emmanuel, and Scotty, there was some strong vibes and happiness and vibing between us kicking the Nuggets' ass for most of the game and those guys sitting on there. The Nuggets crowd was shook for most of the game. They did not. This was not the script that they showed up to watch, and they were a little worried. You could tell they were like not. They were all cocky before the game. The in-game ops people were like very braggadocio and kind of like really sure of themselves, just kind of talking out of their ass. Really expected it to be like a absolute trouncing for the Nuggets over the Raptors. Well, they didn't get that. We absolutely scared the shit out of their building. There was a whole part where that whole crowd was very shook. It wasn't until late in the game where they woke up when their team was ahead all of a sudden again that they were feeling comfortable. They did not have a good time for most of the game. Trust me, because we were kicking their ass. That's right. That's right. Let's see. Cowboys saying everyone slam dunk that like button. Yeah. 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 I mean, I'm not mad at the loss. In some ways, this was all around perfect. We looked good. The team looked good. The coach looked good. Dumbasses that think he didn't. He did look good last night, you idiots. And we didn't win. And we got a higher 2 percentage points put on that we're going to keep our pick. What's not to like? What's not to like? Idiots in social media comment spaces. What's not to like? Cowboys saying everyone slam dunk that like button. Thank you, Cowboy. Fiercely saying vet presence of Kelly significantly helped. He was great. RJ was a beast. Amazing showing from Grady. Jonte was so much better. This is the interesting thing. Now, Darko, knowing Jokic personally and being around him for a lot of his life, probably knowing him, he knows him very well. And in fact, we had a really good like recipe for trying to stop Jokic. There was a couple things. First of all, Darko wanted different looks on him, so he's always switching up. So he didn't know what to expect. That's why we saw RJ guarding Jokic at times, along with the centers, Kelly and Jonte. Now, Kelly had an approach of what he normally does with most guys is very physical, little dirty, very much kind of like veteran smarts in stripping the ball from Jokic if he can. Any kind of like physicality, kind of pushing him out and stuff. Now, Jonte's interesting because he's young, he's green, but he has a special connection to the Nuggets because he rehabbed with them when he tore his ACL and he's coming back. His brother had him in the facility, so he's been around the Nuggets. So in some ways, just like Bruce Brown's buddies with all those guys, so is Jonte. Now, Jonte has had an interview earlier this season where he spoke about Nikola and how much he's in awe of him and how much he studied him. So there's no joke that Jonte Porter knew how to play Nikola Jokic pretty well last night because he's very much in awe of him. In fact, he may be one of his favorite players in the whole entire league, and he very much studies him. So there's a reason why Jonte knows what to do to guard Nikola Jokic because it's a pet project for him. He's somebody specifically that he really has studied. So, and it showed. It showed. He was really smart. There's certain rules to guarding each player you play in the NBA. And with Jokic, there's a certain rule about, keeping in front of him, keeping impediment, and just, aggravating a shot and playing very physical. Also, you keep him as far away from the rim as you can. You really do body him and try and keep him as far away from the rim as you can. And that was great. Really smart by Darko to set up the system of how they were going to handle Jokic. It was very effective in the first half. And I commend both Kelly and Jonte for their work on Nikola Jokic. That's not an easy guard, and they did an exemplary job in the first half. RJ getting switched to him at times and looking scary, and he did okay too, which was very interesting to see. RJ's been put in a lot of roles with the injuries recently that he shouldn't normally have to play, but he's trying to fill in admirably, whether it's like the all-round best defender on the team that Scotty would be. He's getting these tough assignments where he's really not matched up well with them, but he's doing his best. And I commend him for it. There's a lot of stuff he's having to do in other departments that if his teammates were healthy, he wouldn't. But he's ready to step up and try and do them to his best. And I love that. I love that so much. They did an excellent job on Jokic. And casuals who do not understand coaching, do not understand how good Darko's doing, you need to go look at that. And look at how we had a very good plan for Nikola, and we executed it very well in the first half. Yeah, Jamal, good stuff with him too. We were guarding him very well also. I was pissed off that they gave a continuation to Jamal Murray that was absolutely a further continuation, and they didn't give RJ that same one when he made a shot over Nikola Jokic. That pissed me off. That was maybe the one call that Tyler Ford made that kind of pissed me off. Was that he didn't give continuation to RJ on that shot that obviously was in the same motion. It's just, I know what he would have said, and I know why he did this. Now the foul came because of contact in the dribble coming up and not during the shot. So I mean, I know that's the explanation Tyler Ford would give, but I would say the same damn thing about Jamal Murray's little loop-de-loop through the lane where he got hit and he was able to finish up over his shoulder. It's the same kind of fucking play. The refs should have gave RJ an extra free throw at that moment. The other play that was dubious, but was actually the right play, was the jump ball. The one where RJ was coming to the basket and the one of the Nuggets got their hands on it too, and Tyler Ford called jump ball instead of foul. Yeah, I mean, I know what happened is basically they cleanly got their hands on the ball with RJ when he's coming up, and that's why Tyler called the jump ball. That's a dubious call in some ways. Some superstars may get just the foul and no jump ball. I felt like the refs were overall pretty fair. It wasn't totally like the refs hit jobbing us or anything like that. It really was just the crazy, incredible veteran top level team. Once again, I'll use the escalator analogy. We're at the bottom of the escalator, and these guys are at the very top. They're literally the team on the top of the escalator. And in some ways, they're just at a different place in development, connection, veteran know-how, and experience being the current champions of the NBA. We're a team that's been together for 2 months, y'all, and they've been together for 6 years. That's enough right there to tell any fucking dumbass casual fan who's pissed off at Darko for coughing up a 20-point lead to the Nuggets last night. That team's been together for 6 years. We've been together for 2 months, fuckface. So if you don't get that, casual Raptors fans, if you cannot understand the concept of what I just said, then I don't know what's going to get through to you. I don't think you can get any more smartened up because you're obviously stupid as fuck if you can't understand what I just said there. As a team's been together for 6 years and you've been together for 2 months. What the fuck? You can't understand the difference there? Well, we can't be together for 6 years if y'all keep fucking want to throw the trash out every time. You want to throw the trash every fucking week out? Well, we're not going to ever build anything that's going to sustain and last for long. You've got to keep your people. This isn't Tinder, dumbasses. You don't just flip next. No, this is something you get right. You do a lot of careful planning and studying and execution of looking at metrics, thinking about interviews, talking to people, psychological analysis, thinking about people, how they fit in a basketball way. This is all very planned out. You think these fuckers are just picking names, throwing darts at the wall and saying, oh, pick this guy? No, they're thinking about how this all fits. They looked at, How long did it take us to get our coach? Do you think that they wasted their time for 3 months last summer to find Darko in the end? Like, y'all are so stupid. Everything is figured out and planned ahead. Y'all are not making decisions in the right way when you think, oh, get rid of the coach now, do this right now. No, we are not making decisions frivolously. We put a lot of thought into these decisions, and amending and changing these decisions should not be just like snap judgments of dumbass fucking social media warrior dumbasses who are not real fans talking out of their ass and they don't know what they're talking about. If you want to be like the Nuggets, Raptors fans, you have to let it cook. You have to let it sit and simmer on the oven. You can't just keep changing the recipe every fucking week. You need to get your shit down with who you got and keep it who you got together. You have a starting five like the Nuggets. That's what you get. That's what you get. Jokic, Jamal, Porter, and Gordon playing together for a while is the reason why they play the way they do. You don't want to allow our team to grow a nucleus and get their vibes going for 5 or 4 years. I don't know. Y'all have that patience, you fucking jabroni social media idiots. Seriously, you're going to need patience. Masai said this. Y'all don't listen. Have patience. Y'all are fucking overreacting to every little fucking game, you dumbasses. Immaturity is what it shows. I'm going to say y'all aren't real ones. You're immature idiots when you fucking do not have the wisdom to know it takes time to build things. It takes time, you idiots, you dumbasses. Oh my gosh. Dumbass motherfuckers. That's right. I will say that about these people on social media that just do not understand what's going on right now. Really, really don't. Really, really don't. Nako's saying, let's see. Fiercely saying vet presence at Kelly significantly helped. He was great. RJ was a beast. Amazing showing from Grady. Jonte was so much better. Yeah. Yeah. I think that that's all true. Nako's saying it did take Jokic having a pretty incredible performance to make it close. Yeah, his stat line's crazy. By the end of the game, he got his numbers. He did not have them at halftime. In the second half, him and Jamal got their numbers. They ended up getting their real stat lines, 26 and 12 for Jamal Murray, 12 assists, 35, 17 rebounds, and 12 assists for Nikola. Yeah, those are monster games. Those are normal games from them. They need to go. And listen, Nikola was trying in the second half. He was really trying to get it back. You know, him hitting that big three was a signifying of it at the start. Yeah, it is what it is. Let's see. Isaac saying earlier in the day, I thought Bradley may have to sub in as starting point guard. Let's grow. Ring that bell. What, Bradley, Canadian Cowboy? No, I was thinking they're going to start Javon Freeman Liberty at point guard last night, but they didn't. He didn't really play a whole lot in the game after all. Bruce Brown. This is all right. I'm going to talk about Bruce Brown real quick. I am really not a big fan of this guy. In some ways, he did something yesterday that made me laugh that was funny, but also at the same time, in some ways, whatever. I don't want to put $22 million on him next year. I really don't. Now, he did an interview with Savannah during the day and a practice interview yesterday. And Savannah's talking to him, and he's kind of like all weird, the way he's kind of acting. He's kind of aloof and kind of like casual. And Savannah asked him, like, well, how do you feel about the changes that have happened with the Denver Nuggets from last year when you were on them and where they are now? He's not listening to her. He basically started answering the question like she asked him what the changes about the Raptors. In some ways, I was happy he did this because it shows that he's thinking about our team and he's not thinking about his old team so much. He started going on, well, our team's very good and we're going to get better over time. I could see it getting better. You know, we just traded a whole bunch of guys and we're completely new. And he kind of like went over his overview of how he looks at the Raptors right now. And but then Savannah said, no, I was asking you about the Nuggets. So in some ways, I like that he was so Raptor centric during the interview that he misheard her in her question. And then she asked him to answer the question about the Nuggets. Whatever, it's funny. But I didn't trust Bruce last night. I felt like he played kind of shitty in certain ways. And in some ways, he may have been a double agent. You know, it's a weird situation with all the connections in the game last night. You got the Porter brothers. Obviously, they did a jersey swap. It was a huge deal for the Porter family because Jonte actually played many meaningful minutes against Michael. And he was very much keying some big things for us, hitting big threes, playing good defense on Nikola. Michael Porter Jr. said after the game, it's like tough to be playing my brother because at the same time, I'm like hoping all his shots go in, but I'm also like hoping he doesn't make his shots. Such a difficult situation to be in. But yeah, it was cool. It was funny because when Jonte was coming in, Michael just went off and made like two threes really quick, right when Jonte was standing at the scorer's table. But yeah, that was a beautiful thing to see. The relationship between the Porter brothers, that's one thing. Bruce Brown's relationship with Denver, being a champion with them last year. Then you have the Canadian connections with RJ battling Jamal and Kelly and them in there. And then there's even the Kansas connections that were in the games last night. A lot of Kansas fans came to Denver to watch Grady Dick, Oshai Abaji, and Christian Brun. And that matchup was on the down low, a marquee matchup for a lot of people. Christian versus Grady out there on the court. And I feel like Grady beat Christian stat wise last night. But yeah, there was a lot of little subplots. There's a lot of friendliness between the Nuggets family and our family because, once again, it goes all the way to Michael Malone and his father being the very first Raptor coach ever. So there's a lot of good connections. And we can talk about Serbia and Nikola and Darko. A lot of connections between the Nuggets and the Raptors. And they were on display last night. Brotherly connections, Canada connections, Serbia connections, Kansas connections, old teammate connections. So in some ways, I was like, are they pulling punches for us because they kind of like us? There's a lot of connections here. Yeah, maybe. Or maybe we're, Bruce Brown's fucking subterfuging us on the down low. Oh, there's a turnover. Oh my gosh. Sorry, guys. Yeah, it's Denver. I love them. I didn't trust Bruce Brown last night. Let's just put it that way. There was a period of time late in the game where it's like, Darko, get him out. I don't trust Bruce Brown in this environment with his old former team that he won a championship with. All of them are his friends. And in some ways, I don't trust him right now. In some ways, he's not taking the game as seriously as he should be. He seemed very casual and kind of flipping and kind of not really protecting the ball at times. And I was just kind of like, what the fuck is Bruce doing out there? I'm like, get him out. Get him out. I don't give a shit if he's more vet than most of our guys that we have available right now. Get him the fuck out because I don't trust him. In some ways, he did some fucked up shit at the end, whether it's a missed shot or a turnover. And I'm like, yeah, is he helping them? Is he trying to help them come back? I was wondering about that for a little bit at some point in there. Yeah. Yeah. Ring that bell. Ding, ding. Cool Cat saying, I love that Grady is getting the minutes to showcase his skills he had at Kansas and seeing that they translate in the NBA. I love his IQ for the game. This is such a weird journey with Grady this year. Last night, I had the moment where I was like, I'm so glad they drafted him. I really did have that moment last night. I've had it a couple times in the last month, but even more so right now. I can see, like, all right, there was something Grady did last night that was like Larry Bird. And I was like, wait a second. He just did an old Larry Bird thing just now. There's a lot more to Grady and his smarts than I even thought. Like, seriously, like, than I've even, like, can I don't even know what the potential is. Seriously, this kid is extremely brilliant. Like, I don't get it. Like, Masai and Bobby are geniuses. When I scouted him last year, I was like, he's going to be too slow. He's not going to translate the NBA game. Boy, was I wrong. In some ways, he's one of those players that doesn't need to play at the speed of the NBA because he can play his own speed because he's so smart. Man, I am so thrilled that we drafted Grady now. In some ways, I wasn't that. It's been a weird journey. I was disappointed when they drafted him initially. Seriously, I was because I wanted Jordan Hawkins. And then for the summer, I was seeing stuff and I was kind of gauging him against the other rookies. And I'm kind of like, you know what, man? Why did we draft him? It's kind of where we were for like most of the summer and then even into the fall. And even his struggles at 905 and then that weight training program they put him on around Christmas. I was like, man, is this guy going to pan out? Did we get a bust? A lot of people were already saying Grady Dick was a bust in November. And they're like, oh, fuck, Grady's not going to do anything. What did we do? Why did we draft this guy? Well, we know now. And I'm so glad they did. And once again, this is one of those moments where we got to trust Bobby and Masai because they really do know their job. They really do their homework. And they're fucking geniuses, honestly. In some ways, if you think about the idea of Grady with Scotty for the next few years, it's really, really, really like really great like synergy and idea and concept. Grady Dick playing with Scotty Barnes, more and more, getting that synergy I just talked about, like the Nuggets got over years. Those two guys getting synergy. Look, just think about the possibilities. Just think about just what is possible because Grady's showing new skills that I just didn't even understand. They did tell us he's not just a shooter, y'all. He's a scorer. And there's some of this stuff where he's putting the ball on the floor and he's kind of like he's making decisions on the fly that are so smart. They're gutsy. There's some of this stuff is like beating people off the dribble to get the basket by like just having a quick first step. Some of it is understanding when to pull up the short on the mid range, like coming in from the 3-point line, getting around them, but then pulling up and taking the shot. And one of those shots he shot was a little bit of a looper, but he got a shooter's bounce and it dropped through last night. There's a lot more to him than I gave him credit from scouting him last year. And I'm very pleasantly surprised. And once again, I am so glad I was wrong. And I should have just trusted Bobby Masai. And honestly, this is an area where I think a lot of Raptors fans could agree. They didn't totally believe in Grady Dick this year, but now they do. And that's a very good example of trust in our front office. And once again, I'll say apply what I've said just now about Grady Dick's journey this season. And let's go a little bit over a longer term of time and think about this with Darko Rajakovic as our coach. I'm serious. People are making up their decisions on Darko on this season. You're crazy. You're absolutely crazy. This is not, you need to give him more time. That's right. You need to give him more time. Trevor's saying, good morning, Raptors family. What a game. We put some we put some fire into the Nuggets. We brought the fight we brought the fight. Oh my gosh, Trevor. I know you read your comments in. You don't type them in, obviously. Or do you spell check? I don't understand why it goes like this. Good morning, Raptors family. What a game. We put some fair into the Nuggets. We bought the fight to them. All right, I'm just going to read it how it says. All right, on that note, let's do the classic cosmic card of the day, commissioned by the Commissioner Fund, Trevor J. Whenever I see his comment first in the show is when I'm going to do the cosmic card of the day. And it's going to be a daily segment because he's sending me so many cards. We're going to have so many cards for the whole year. We might as well do it. So let's see. Who did we get today? The cosmic card of the day, Trevor J. Oh, this is interesting. It's a weird looking card. Do y'all know who that is? I want to see if y'all know who that is. That's a weird picture. I don't know. We could do a little trivia real quick. Who is that, y'all? Can y'all write into the chat who you think that is? Let's do a little fun trivia real quick, and then we'll come back and we'll guess. All right, Doc Rivers. That's a good guess, David, but that's not right. That's not Doc Rivers. I'll cover up the name and I'll put it up close. Do y'all know who that is? I want to see who knows their NBA. You can't see any jersey or anything. Derek Coleman. That's an interesting. That's very close guess. That's the right time period. Mutombo. That's not Dikembe Mutombo. All right. Yeah. Just you keep guessing. Let's see. If you get it, well, I'll give you extra points in the Raptor Freak trivia. How about that? Well, I'm not going to do that right now. We're just doing the player right now, Fiercely. I'll read your comment when I get back to it. Do y'all know who that is? I want to know if you guys can get this. This is kind of interesting. Of course, this card is a Tops card. Is it Tops? Something like that. Supersonic player. I don't remember him playing for the Sonics. This guy played primarily for the Charlotte Hornets. That should give it away. You recognize the face? This guy played with number 14 behind me. Number 14, Mr. Muggsy Bogues. This guy played with him in Charlotte. So I don't know if you guys will get this. This is interesting. You recognize the face. There you go. Smooth got it. Smooth got it. There you go. Smooth Brown Man got it. It's J.R. Reed, guys. That's J.R. Reed. That's right. Good job, Smooth. I wanted to see if somebody would know this. I mean, that's pretty damn good. The card was with no jersey on it, and I could just cover the name. So I was like, this is perfect for kind of who am I fun, yeah. So, yeah, this is a Tops Stadium Club card, and it looks like it's probably around 1991 or 2. This is a card for when he was on the Spurs. So this is J.R. Reed when he was on the Spurs. So there you go. J.R. Reed was actually a really good power forward center for the Hornets, the Spurs, and a couple other teams too. But yeah, good job, Smooth. I'm going to give Smooth some points on our trivia for getting that one. Yeah, that's good stuff. Good stuff. All right, the card of the day. Trevor J., thank you for commissioning that. You are my dude. Thank you. I appreciate that. All right, let's see. What is the next comment in the chat after Trevor J? G saying, what's crazy is ESPN had a before and after the half scores, and outside of Raptors fans, many fans said 20 is nothing now, and Raptors were missing 4 starters. Common Raps fans get it together. It's like they don't pay attention. In some ways, they really are just one thing. They care about how much the guy scored and whether we won, and they really don't understand basketball. They're not paying attention to the details. They're not paying attention to things. It's like, seriously, like, what you're not, like G said, the ESPN had a before and after the half scores, and outside the Raptors fans, many fans said 20 is nothing now. That's right. And we didn't have our starters. And of course, the champs are not going to just roll over and let us beat them, like with no effort of trying to come back on us. Like, I don't understand these people that don't understand, like, fucking this, the Denver Nuggets. They have won so many games recently that they're not a pushover. And even if we kick their ass in the first half, it doesn't mean the second half will go exactly like that. I wasn't feeling good about us beating them, even with the 22-point lead, because I understood it's very likely in the second half that they would try and mount a comeback, and they could be very much successful. And that is what happened. Yeah. Fiercely saying she enjoyed the game yesterday. That's right. That's right. We enjoyed it. It was a pretty good game. Most saying the Porter brothers swap was so nice. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Michael saying after the game, he doesn't let Jonte beat him very much. As they were growing up, he very much dominated him, being the older brother. He didn't want to let Jonte win. And he still likes to be like that with him. He doesn't want to let him win ever. Let's see. Cool Cat saying RJ is showing why he is a top 3 draft pick. He showed his leadership on the court. Love to see it. RJ is a dream. Andre is like, listen, if I was going to make a profile for a player that I want on my team, he is that. In some ways, we're getting the Lowry factor from RJ and Kelly again. There's certain things about Eye the Tiger, caring about competing and winning and keeping score about who's won what and who's beaten who, that these guys are keeping. In some ways, Kelly Olynyk, I could tell that he's like, we're going to figure out a way to beat this Nuggets team somehow, some way, even with the squad that we have available tonight. Like, that was the way he was thinking. In some ways, he's taken all the work that he's done against Jokic in the Western Conference on various teams that he's been in his career, and he's utilizing that. And these guys have a spirit and a fight. And they don't give a shit if these guys are the champions. They could go in there and try and beat their ass. And in some ways, we wouldn't have the chutzpah to do that without Barrett and Olynyk. That those guys are essential for what we did yesterday. That those guys, they carry us. That in some ways, it really is true. These guys are playing for their city, and it's different. It's very different. I love that Kelly's threes are going in now. Finally, again, it's been really, really good. All right, let's do the stars of the game. I'm going to give 5 stars, even in a loss, for the game last night, because I feel like the Raptors deserve it. They played at a high level, and a lot of guys actually played really well. I couldn't just minimize it to 3 stars. So I'm going to do 5. RJ Barrett is the number 1 star of the game for me for the Raptors last night. A true leader, a fighter. I loved his burst to the basket last night. We got some really nice, nasty, powerful dunks. People left the lane open, and RJ went and took it. I love that aggressiveness. In some ways, his burst and his fierceness and his aggressiveness on those dunks is the epitome of his fight and desire to help the Raptors win. In some ways, some people would walk into this game and they're like, you know what, we're going to lose. Nobody's here for us. These are the champs. This Jokic. Come on, guys, we're going to lose. And why would RJ come out there and give such an effort? Why would he burst and throw it down on their heads like that? If he really believed it was, what's the point of doing this? No, I love that guy so much right now. In some ways, RJ Barrett's becoming my favorite Raptor of all time, because honestly, he does it for a pure reason. He does it because he's from here. 26 points, 10 of 20 from the field, 1 of 3 from 3, 5 of 5 at the free throw line. There you go, RJ. Your free throws were back last night. 7 rebounds, 9 assists. He's very much not that far from a triple-double. Yeah, RJ, you're the number 1 star of the game to me. Second star, Kelly Olynyk. As I said, these Canadian guys carried us. 9 of 13 for Kelly. Kelly was getting these really weird spin moves. It's like he's like some sort of weird Wish version of Akeem Olajuwon down there with all of his up and under and spinning around, pivot foot, getting open and kind of like just flipping it up in there in some ways. Really fun stuff. Really patient. Really, in some ways, it's like some people would be like, "That's ugly." That really athletic basketball in the NBA? It doesn't matter. It's effective. It's 2 points anyway. Who cares if it looks right? Kelly Olynyk was scoring for us, and it was funny. He's a very savvy scorer. 2 for 4 at three, 4 of 5 at the free throw line, 6 rebounds, 1 assist, 24 points in 29 minutes. Kelly Olynyk, the Canadian connection is so awesome, and he's such a competitor. He's such a competitor. He's so smart. You guys see the plays that Kelly does on the court. He's doing smart things all over the place. And once again, I love the aspect where all of our guys can pass and they're all looking for each other. And it just makes it really hard for other teams to scheme against and figure out how to stop us because anybody could be the good passer in our lineups these days. Anybody could be that good passer. Yeah, the center right on down to the point guard. Grady Dick is the third star of the game to me. 7 of 12 from the field, 17 points, 2 of 4. He hit his only free throw, 4 rebounds, 7 assists, 2 steals, a little bit of stat stuffing from the shooter. In some ways, that's something that, like, look, if it was Gary instead of him in the game, would Gary get a stat line like this with 4 rebounds and 7 assists and 2 steals? Maybe. But I'm just saying there is going to be different flavors to our shooting guard when who we start next year. Well, in some ways, I like the well-roundedness of what Grady's doing because in some ways he's showing is not just a shooter or scorer. There's a lot of a defensive aspect with him. In fact, earlier in the game, he did this thing where he was so savvy. He saw them throwing the ball over his head. He jumped up and grabbed it out of the air as they threw it over him and stole the ball that way. That is crazy aptitude, guts, trust, timing, and athleticism to steal the ball out of the air because the guy passing it and you just jump up and grab it and bring it down. That is amazing. And it shows that Grady is really on the ball, really on it everywhere. And he's really tuned in. And he really operates at a very high intellectual basketball level. Man, we have some really smart players on our team. And I love it. Most of our players are good passers and they're smart. That's a very good thing. Trust me. My 4th star, given extra stars, is Jonte Porter. Jonte was awesome. Darko gave him a lot of kudos at the end of the game. Really happy with his 3-point shooting. Jonte was 4 for 7 from 3. Some of those threes were really absolutely critical and really sparks for us. Really, really helped us get that lead in the first half. And he even hit a 3 or so in the second half when we were kind of trying to keep up with them, hold them off to coming back on us. Yeah, Jonte, you were awesome, man. 5 of 9 overall, 2 rebounds, 5 assists, 1 steal, 14 points, a +1. So he was a plus in that game. Yeah, Jonte, good job, man. I mean, honestly, that must have been so much fun to be playing against your brother at a high level and actually doing well yourself. And I know your brother shot really well from 3 also last night. He was annoying. He kind of killed us at times with his threes when he was hitting them at those key times when he hit his 2 threes. Yeah, my 5th star of the game and last star is Jalen McDaniels. I'm really happy with what Jalen did out there. Did y'all really feel like, look, we haven't seen Jalen a whole lot this year. In some ways, we wonder, like, what the hell? Well, last night, there were things about what Jalen did. I was like, I want to keep him on our team. He's very smart, and he is a scorer. It's really interesting how he's making his shots go in and coming in to get them. And, that he really works. He's got a very interesting talent. He's similar to Chris, but he's not totally similar to Chris. There's a little bit different skills in their bags. But Jalen was awesome. I had to give him some recognition last night. Jalen McDaniels and RJ gave him recognition at the end of the game too in his press conference. J Mac was a spark. He came out there, did good stuff for us. 5 of 9 for Jalen McDaniels. 0 for 3 from 3, but hey, 2 for 3 at the free throw line. He took that technical, and everybody's like, "Why is he shooting that technical?" Well, you know what? As Alvin and Matt said, he was the most senior guy on the court at that time. That's what Devlin said. Is like, why is Jalen taking that shot? Well, all the rest of the guys were younger than him. If that didn't signify some of the crazy lineups we had out there with no experience, that should right there. The fact that there was a technical to be shot, and the designated person that was the most vet and the best person to take the shot was Jalen McDaniels. Now, I may disagree that maybe Grady should have took that shot, but who cares? Jalen was the most vet in that moment, and we're playing against the champs. We're playing against guys that have been in the league 10 plus years, and we're playing with a bunch of guys that have all maybe played like collectively under 10 years. Like if you add all their numbers up for their years, Grady, half a year, O'Shai, uh, Jalen McDaniels. It's crazy. We had such an inexperienced lineup battling with the top team in the league. So I can't get mad at that. I felt like they did really well. They didn't look totally like rookies against vets like they could have. But yeah, Jalen McDaniels, awesome stuff. 12 points in 19 minutes, 3 rebounds, 1 assist, 3 steals. He didn't have all the rebounds he had in the game before, but the scoring was there and it was needed. So there's my 5 stars of the game for the game. I had to give him 5 because the effort in the first half deserved it. That's right there. Yeah. Yeah, let's see. Cowboys, Dap and Isaac. Trevor's saying, watching Grady's 3 points drop and has mid-range shots and playmaking development right in front of all our eyes. The future is bright. This is a beautiful problem to have. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't get the negative Raptor fans right now. This season's a wash. Get with the program. If you don't understand what's going on, casuals, listen to me. We're supposed to lose for the rest of the season. You're getting upset because we coughed up a 20-point lead to the champs. Get over yourself. This was good. Everything that happened and worked out the way it did last night worked out for us. Our percentage to keep our pick went up 2% after last night's loss. And we looked really good. We didn't get embarrassed. There was a lot of promising things that we can see the future building off of. This is going to be very good. You got to remember how many of those guys were wearing the clothes on the sideline and yelling at the court. Scotty, Gary, Emmanuel, Chris, all these dudes sitting out. And y'all are going to get all upset. You do not understand what's going on, you casuals, if you are upset today. Seriously, you do not understand what's going on. That's right. Kareem saying Grady Dick was the longest tenured Raptor amongst the team's available players last night. Not bad. That's crazy to think. He's a rookie. He's a rookie, and he was the one who was on the team the longest out of everybody who played last night. That's true. That's true. That's crazy. No, because Gary and Chris were not in there. Grady Dick was the longest tenured, and he just showed up this year. So don't tell me like what happened last night is a fail, considering the newness of everything and where we're starting from right now. Yeah, the future's real bright. We're gonna build from this floor. If we're building from this floor next year, this new house, the Raptors is gonna look like, well, it's gonna look real good. It's gonna be a beautiful house. It's gonna be a beautiful house if this is the floor we're at. That's right. Let's see. Fiercely saying, I'm sorry, but I get so nervous when Bruce Brown steps on the court. It's that bad for me. He's got weird energy. In some ways, I don't like how long he takes to take shots. He's kind of shaky and weird and kind of like all like no, sped up. It's weird. He's a weird guy. Yeah, let's look at him real quick. 38 minutes. He got a double double. 5 of 14 from the field. See, he missed like 9 shots. 1 of 3 from 3. 10 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 turnovers, -8, 13 points in 38 minutes. Yeah, I just didn't trust him last night. In some ways, I know he has way more loyalty to the Denver Nuggets than he does the Raptors. Why wouldn't he? He won a championship with them. Those are all his buddies. You saw the way Nikola came up to him at the beginning of the game. If you have the NBA League Pass, you could see him tussling his hair and roughing him up and roughhousing with him like he's a brother. Bruce Brown and Nikola throwing him around like he's a little rag doll. And Bruce loved it. He was laughing. He's, oh, Nikola, I missed this. Throw me around like a child. Yeah, there was a little bit of that at the beginning of the game before it started. Yeah, let me look at some of the other guys. Abaji was, well, you know what? Abaji was really good also, but he just didn't have the production where I would have given one of the stars. It's amazing to me is Abaji's short. And he blocked like Jokic last night, I believe. I'm like, this dude's getting blocks on people this past week where I'm like, this dude should not be doing that. And his athleticism around the rim is really fantastic. Like he really gets up there to try and throw it down. And in some ways, his heart and determination is really impressing me. Now, I wish his shooting would impress me more, but you know what? The defensive stuff, the physicalness of his strength and the size of like him getting around is actually valuable. I can see where Abaji can actually get development going up into new realms. Now, I wish he was a little bit taller, But otherwise, man, that guy is actually impressing me. The blocks, 2 blocks he got last night were really good. 4 of 7, didn't shoot that bad, but he didn't take a lot of shots. 8 points in 29 minutes. Jordan Wara came in for a hot cup of coffee for a bit. He wasn't horrible. 2 of 7, 5 points, 1 of 4 from 3, 7 rebounds though. Wara really concentrating on boarding in the game last night. He did get a block too and an assist. Javon Freeman Liberty, a wash. He missed the 2 shots he took. He was an offer. He did have 2 assists and 1 rebound. This is a game where I thought Freeman Liberty could have actually really made a name for himself and done something big. But alas, he did not. Yeah. So, yeah, that's kind of looking over the whole box score for the Raptors. The other side, hey, Nikola Jokic, Jamal Murray, big games from Gordon and Porter as secondary players, and a big 3 by Caldwell Pope. And near the end of the game, the only basket he made, very, very helpful. Yeah, their bench wasn't as strong. They really do rely on their starters because honestly, like I said, their build is the championship core starting 5 and then a bunch of youngsters that kind of come in. They don't have the deepest bench. People will say the Nuggets have a deep bench, but I don't believe them. In some ways, they really do rely on their starting 5. And this could be a detriment to them repeating this year. I'm going to say that right now. Their lack of depth, experience depth, may shoot them in the foot by the end of this playoff, just so you all know. I could see that. All right, let's keep going in the chat. Most saying the stars of the game, a good effort, RJ, Grady, Jonte, and a bonus for Kelly and Jalen. She's got the same 5 names I have. And that's very good. That's very good. Nako's saying Darko does deserve credit for a lot of RJ's success on the Raptors. Yeah, it could be the system. It could be the fit. I mean, he's given him the opportunities and he's excelling. He's flourishing. Darko needs credit for some things this year, and his haters are not going to give him credit for it. And that's why we got to counterbalance this shit. Every single person that's bad mouthing Darko, you have more in common with a Boston Celtics fan than a Raptors fan. Honestly, seriously, you need to look at yourself in the mirror and understand who you're actually rooting for. You don't understand that Darko could actually win us a championship down the road. You're stupid because he can. I can see all the signs of him being a championship coach. I can see all the signs of him being an outstanding development coach already. And I could see him being a good X's and O's coach, a top level coach like people like Popovich and Spoelstra. So look, y'all are judging him too soon. And in some ways, you're only judging him on wins and losses. Well, you idiots do not understand the NBA and what it takes to build up a program and where you start on the floor. The floor is looking real good. It may not get wins right now, but that's not the goal right now. The goal is where we were in Tampa at this time of the season, in that season, at this point. And the mysterious DMPs of Emmanuel Quickley and Gary Trent Jr. should tell you all you need to know, casual Raptors fans that are upset that we lost last night. These guys, we're going to win. Well, Quickley could have played. We might have won. It's not about winning right now. And Raptors Nation that does not understand this, well, you can go ahead and be miserable and sad because we lost. But we understand that that's not the plan at this point. Winning is not part of the plan at this point, and everybody's upset over every loss going out. Well, you're gonna be upset for a lot of games for the rest of the season. Maybe you should just not watch if you only are win or nothing. Ricky Bobby, your fucking dumbass Ricky Bobby mentality is gonna get you pain and suffering for the rest of the year. Just so you know, yeah. All right, let's keep going. Trevor's saying Michael Porter speaking at the game interview about his brother Jonte. Nice words to him. Well, of course, it's his brother. He loves him, and he wants to see him make millions of dollars just like him. There's a lot of reasons for that. Wayne's saying it is blasphemy to say I enjoyed that loss. I'm not even mad at McDaniels. Yeah, is it blasphemy? He's saying, is it blasphemy to say I enjoyed that loss? No, it's not. I think most real fans were very happy with the game last night. I think most real fans were. People that are upset and bent out of shape are virtue signalers. They're idiots. They may have some sort of idea in their life of like, if I don't lose in my life, I don't ever lose, and my team doesn't either. So it shouldn't lose last night. They don't have a perspective. They don't understand long-term growth in NBA franchises. They're just, honestly, I don't know who these people are. I feel like sometimes these are just little preteen kids. They're really stupid. Like, I'm realizing that the youth are not the most intelligent in some ways. They have all the information in the world at their fingertips on computers, but they don't utilize it. It's like I said, there's a guy on Survivor that thought the word several meant 7. There's a lot of dumb people that are going out there and having these weird ideas about things, and they're not getting corrected on it because they're not educated. They're just assuming things. And I think there's a lot of young NBA fans that assume a lot of things, but don't really have an educated basis of understanding the game, the history, and what the principles of basketball and winning basketball mean or how you do it. I think that they're just a lot of dummies that just kind of see the results and they just opine about it and they don't really understand the deep other ramifications of the whole thing around it, the past, the present, and the ideas of what the future could be. I think that this is what it is. I think that there's just a lot of people that have access to espouse opinions and they're not educated enough to make rational, good, confident comments. That these are people that should not be able to have an audience because they're fucking stupid, because they don't know what they're talking about. Because in some ways, this world has an audience for every idiot at this point. I mean, I could be included in that for sure. But the problem is that there's a lot of uneducated people that are espousing opinions that really don't know what the fuck they're talking about. And the avenues for them to be out there and get their shit out there is out there. And that's the sad thing. Misinformation is just a cesspool that's pushed around all over the place at this point. And it's really, really hard to figure out where the good sources of information are. You can kind of tell when you hear certain people talk certain ways or idiots and whatever. You can figure out who not to follow on Twitter and other places anymore. Yeah. No, it's not blasphemy to say that you enjoyed the game last night. It was a very enjoyable game. I wish they'd won. Sure. But in some ways, it didn't serve us to win, did it? No, it didn't serve us to win. Bryce is saying not only RJ, but Grady. Yeah. Passing excellence. The pinpoint passing, so awesome. It caught me off guard. In some ways, when they do those kind of passes, I'm kind of like, don't pass in traffic. They're going to take the ball, they're going to steal it. And sometimes that often happens. But boy, there were two passes, one by Grady and one by RJ last night, that were just precision, pinpoint precision to get the ball delivered to the right spot in a successful conversion of a basket. Good stuff. The future is bright. If that's the kind of synergy and passing that could go on, and Scotty's not even fucking playing, we know Scotty can do that shit too. That's what I'm saying. Cowboys chomping, chomping, chomping. Fiercely's saying, preach on, Lex. I'm supporting the rant. Yeah. If you like my rants, clip it out and go share it with these idiots so they can hear me. Take my clip mine out and go and put it in their face and have me tell them to their face in the comment section. Say, look, yeah, you what? I've got something to say to you. Raptor Street's going to say it for me. And here it is. Here's the clip. You just watch this. This is all I have to say to you. I'm not going to type all this shit to say to you. I'm going to let my friend rant on you for 5 minutes on his YouTube stream. And this will tell you all you need to know. You casual, hating, not Raptors fans, acting like you're Raptors fans, motherfuckers. That's right. Fiercely, you clip me out and you bring my clip to them so they can hear me go off on their dumb asses. That's right. That's right. G saying some fans, let's blow it up, then proceed to expect to win right away once it's blown up. I hear you. These fans sound crazy. To be honest, how do you not understand the process? I really think it's just that they're young and they don't have any basis of time to judge anything by. I feel like there's a huge section of our fans that are so new because of the championship, and they've only been following us for like the last 5 years or even less. And I mean, Jill just told us she started watching during the pandemic when she was lonely. She didn't even watch when they won the championship. And Jill's a great fan. She loves his team and she has the best intentions. She's positive, but she is somebody that doesn't have the most experience in understanding basketball. So in some ways, it's really good that Jill's here and we can educate her on terms about basketball and the history of basketball and things like that. But there's a lot of people like Jill that came to the team more recently. They just don't have a basis to make any kind of judgments or ideas about things because they don't know timelines and they don't understand things. They only see the easiness of the championship here and they think it's just so easy. They don't understand how fucking hard it is. And they're unrealistic about things. I think that's the biggest problem. And I shouldn't make this an age thing either. There's older fans that started watching them later too that are just as ignorant about stuff too. They could be new fans because they got enjoyed. They loved the Toronto Raptors championship, the parade, and they got into the Raptors then. But they really don't. They're not educated on the sport just as much as a youngster isn't either. So I shouldn't make it about. I shouldn't make it about age. It's about how recent you started paying attention. Is how it is. Yeah, fiercely saying, Lex, calm down. I suggest you don't go eat at NBA courtside restaurant today. Yeah, I wasn't gonna go there anyway. I've met Larry. I don't need to go meet Larry. I mean, it'd be if I went and met Larry, I'd do it on the year that we're gonna win again, because that's when I met him the first time. Yeah, if anybody wants to go see Larry today, you can. Larry is at the NBA courtside restaurant on Queens Key at the Lakeshore today and tomorrow. There is Larry O'Brien Trophy is in the building at that restaurant. You have to buy a buffet though. You have to go in and get a plate and sit and eat the buffet, and then they'll let you take a picture with the NBA championship trophy. So it's there if you want to go there today and tomorrow. So that's just an opportunity for people that want to go there. I've already gone there. I'm not going down there. No, 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 no. If I do go down there, it may be good. Maybe I'll get something worked out of me health wise. I'll be like, I'm gonna work my anger out on Boston Celtics busboy. He's working at the NBA courtside restaurant. Yeah, I'll go down there and unleash my fury on him. It may be therapeutic. So I wouldn't be upset going down there. No, you suggest I shouldn't go down there? No, I want the outlet. I'm going to go down there and say hi to Green Shirt and say, hello. Do you remember me? I was here with my friend Isaac and Tom last year. And yeah, you pissed me the fuck off. Nako saying, I thought Grady also made some eye-popping defensive plays. Yeah, that one where he grabbed it out of the air was awesome. He's just really heady. Really, really heady player. I love seeing the pride and joy of his parents in the crowd. You could see them very prominently in the crowd, wearing the red and really, really excited for Grady getting the start. You can tell every single time he does something successful out there, Carmen Dick is just really, really happy, so overjoyed. You can tell she's like, and all this stuff. It's so good. It's so good. I love the relationship between Grady and his parents. And I love how they kind of follow him around in different places and show up. I mean, they're still living in Kansas. This Denver game's not that far. It's probably an interesting road trip for his parents to come there. And I mean, what a great timing. It's like, he could be a rookie that's sitting on the bench for the rest of the season if we were healthy and things had gone according to plan. Well, things have come around to a place where he's getting a lot of opportunities. He's shining. What a joy to see your son play against the NBA champions and excel at that high level and do that. It's like, it really is kind of like what you're arriving, bro. You belong here. You do not look out of place with your goofy blonde hair, goofy looking face. No, you belong in this league. In some ways, it's like, I don't know if Grady belongs in this league, but I can say he belongs in this league at this point for sure. I wasn't sure. The beginning of the year, I wasn't sure. Does Grady belong in the NBA? No, he belongs in the NBA. And his parents are so proud, and it's got to be so like a dream to pinch themselves to see him operating against Nikola Jokic. He had to guard Nikola at one point. I was like, oh my God, Grady got switched on Nikola. Yikes. It's like, that's the kind of shit, like, when you're young, you're like, holy crap, you're going to have to guard people like LeBron and Kevin Durant at some point, Grady. Yikes. Yikes. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Blackhawks here. Good to see Neil. All these losses are making us stronger. Mistakes are good teachers. We're going to be stronger next season. Well, this is kind of what people were saying after the game. Michael Malone saying it. Darko's saying it. This team did all these things that we just did too. They've had their lessons from before. It's like, how do you do this? They asked Michael Malone, how do you come back and win with such a 20-point deficit? Well, we've been in this position before. We know what to do in this situation. And I get my guys collected and we say, guys, get serious. You know what we have to do here? We don't want to lose this game. And boom, we do it. And what's Darko saying the other side of the locker rooms? Saying this. He's saying, well, these guys have been here before. They've done this. They know what they're doing. They're long program. They've been together a long time. Michael Malone does a good job building this team. Nikola Jokic, amazing talent, best player in the world right now. This is they've been here. We've never been here. This is something new for us. We got to go do this and get our chances to do this and get to the point where they get to. But if these crazy ass fans had their way, we'd never get to those points because they want to rip it up and tear it up every little bit before we even get anywhere, any progress. Y'all want progress? Because there's nothing that's going on with the Raptors right now that is wrong or negative or not good for the future. Y'all want progress? Well, we got to keep going on this path. You can't, if you want to get to a destination, Raptors fans, you got to drive the miles to get there, right? If you want to drive from Toronto to see our good friend Seymour Pape in the Central Time in Calgary, are you going to drive there? You're going to drive, let's take 401. We'll go up the Canadian Highway and we'll go up over Lake Superior, go to Sault Ste. Marie. Yeah, you're going to drive there. All right, let's drive to Sault Ste. Marie. When we get to Sault Ste. Marie, you're going to say, oh, I don't want to go with these people anymore. Let's drive back to Toronto and drop this one guy off. He smells. I've been complaining about him. You didn't listen to me. I hate him. We need to take him back. All right, let's turn around from Sault Ste. Marie and go all the way the fuck to Toronto and drop this one guy off and put a new guy in the car and start our journey all over. Does that make any fucking sense? We want to go see Seymour Pape to drive all the way up to Sault Ste. Marie, then turn the fuck around to go back to Toronto just to drop a guy off because we don't like him? No. You got to keep going on that journey because you lose your progress when you start over. If we want to make it to Seymour and Calgary, we're going to have to keep driving. So everybody who wants to let Darko out of the car and go get somebody else to drive it, you're fucking dumbasses because we'd have to drive all the way back to Toronto. And you don't even understand that. We have to start the journey all over again. You don't understand that. You're going to drive all the way the fuck to Kenora, and then you're going to say, oh, we got to turn around. We got to go back to Toronto because I hate the driver. He's Serbian, and he's not really a good driver. He's an assistant driver. He should be the navigator sitting in the passenger side. He's not good at driving. I've seen him lurching to the left. You know, whatever your fucking bullshit is. That's a good analogy right there. We want to drive all the way to fucking Victoria and see Tom Duke? That's really far. You're going to drive all the way to Calgary and see Seymour Pape and say, nah, we got to turn around. We got to go back to Toronto and get a new driver. You're going to waste time doing that kind of shit, driving back and forth. It's the same exact thing, Raptors fans. So realize Darko's driving this car. We're on the road trip already. So why the fuck do you want to turn around and get a new driver? Seriously, we're going to waste time. And all of a sudden, you're going to do the same damn thing. You're going to be the whiny kids in the back of the station wagon saying, how long is it going to take? When are we going to get there? We're going to get there when we're going to get there. But if you keep telling us we need to switch the driver of the car, we're never going to get there. Never going to get there. If y'all want to keep switching drivers out. Ain't gonna get there. That's right. Alley-oop to Lex. Okay, thank you, Cowboy. I feel like I deserve this one. Honestly, I'm gonna take this one because I really do feel like I deserve this one. Thank you, Cowboy. I really do. All right, thank you. 19 for Lex. I got the old Yakapurtle number. 19 for Lex. That's right. I'm with Yaka. Yes. Trevor's saying Jokic said the Raptors play fast. This was noted by Michael Malone that since the All-Star break, the Raptors are the best fast break team in the league. Yeah, there's something good about that. This coach must be good. We're the number one fast break team in the league, and we're still shitty. That's something good right there. That's right. Blackhawks saying, don't watch the pick because our odds depend on the Grizzlies, Trailblazers, and Hornets winning games. Well, this is the thing, Blackhawk. I'll share this again. This is a fantastic page. It's a real-time kind of thing. They update every day. And basically, it's got our real odds for where we're going to pick. And it's got it statistical. Now, I understand what you're saying, but look at what the spreadsheet is. Go and look at the bottom, Neil, where I just put the link in. And go look at this thing. We'll look at it again. It'll have all those odds factored in with Memphis and everything you're talking about. It's the real-time odds for where we're going to pick as far as the lottery balls that are available and where we pick and what is likely to happen. And as I said yesterday, we had a 13% chance of losing our pick to San Antonio. Well, today it's an 11% chance. I'm looking at it. I'm adding it up. We have a 9% chance to fall into the 8th pick, and that would lose our pick. There's a 2% chance we get the 9th pick. That would make it 11, and there's a minuscule beyond that. So there's 11% chance right now that we will not keep our pick, and San Antonio will get it. There's an 89% chance we will keep our pick, that it will be 7 or higher. That's a really good percentage. I've seen these NBA lottery draft boards with percentages before. This one's exactly perfect and right. And I know what you're saying. It depends on the Grizzlies and stuff, but that factors in all of that in there. So that is very much the statistical percentage that we could keep our pick is 89 right now. And day by day, I'll be looking at this and talking about it. Now, of course, there's 11% that we don't keep it. Well, that's what I'm saying. There is a chance we don't. And I'm just saying right now, it's 89 to 11%. 89, we keep it. 11% we don't. as we currently sit in the standings right now. Yeah. Yeah. Mo's saying four quarter mistakes were the turnovers. Why, Bruce Brown? Why? I know. I know. Too casual. Key misses and turnovers at the wrong times. Murray and Jokic wake up in the fourth. Jonte really pissed off Jokic. You know Jonte wanted to win so badly. You can tell. Yeah, I mean, he wanted to beat his brother. There's a bit of that sibling rivalry, shit talking. Michael said, "Yeah, I always want to beat him. I'm the older brother. I have to keep that dominance over him." He said that after the game. I don't know if he pissed off Jokic. Listen, Jonte and Jokic are friends. Jonte is like a nugget, honestly. In some ways, like he's part of their family because he's been around them so much. When he was not able to play, he rehabbed with them and he was around them all the time. So, in some ways, just like Bruce Brown, he is just as friendly with everybody over there. It's like Nikola looks at him as like a brother, also. I'll bet you Jonte Porter is like a brother to Nikola. So it's not like there's animosity. In some ways, Niccolo is probably pretty impressed with Jonte and how he played him last night. He said, "Wow, you've come a long way, Jonte. The Raptors have really developed you well this year because you're playing way better defense." In some ways, I could talk about Jonte Porter's journey as a Raptor this year. When he showed up for us, he couldn't stay in a game because he fouled so often. He'd get like 4 fouls and boom, he'd have to sit right away. Well, he didn't get his first foul last night, and he was guarding Jokic until like the second half sometime. He did not get a foul in the first half. So he's learned and gotten better about controlling himself and not causing careless fouls and stupid fouls. And that's a big learning arc right there and a attribute to the development of developing Jonte and teaching him not to get in foul trouble. That was a huge issue when he first showed up with us and on the 905 level too. And well, he showed a cleaned up, developed, better version of not fouling out or getting in foul trouble early. Very, very good stuff. In some ways, I got to give him credit for that. Yeah. Cool Cat saying the wins or losses are not really important. It's the development progress that is critical. I love both the Blazers game and the Nuggets game. Appreciate the next man up mentality. The Blazers game pissed me off more because I could see the refs railroading us. But you're right. In some ways, the wins and the losses don't matter right now. And Cool Cat knows exactly what the number one priority is. The show development, the show effort, the show these guys fighting. And this is the one thing we can't say on this trip is that these guys are lazy and they're not trying. You can't say that. Every single game they've gone against a team that's overmatched against them, and they have not rolled over and made it easy for them. Phoenix, Portland, all these games recently, we've made a very strong effort, if not talented enough to win. We did not just roll over and lose. And I'm very proud of the effort and the scrappiness and the determination of the Raptors on this road trip that they've shown. This has not been an easy road trip, a lot of tough teams. And well, in some ways, we're getting what we want right now, and that's development and effort. And that in some ways is more important than the W's right now. Definitely, definitely. Trevor saying they said the Raptors passed the Maple Leafs as the richest franchise. This is old news, Trevor. This has been true for like 2 or 3 years. I talked about this on a stream like 2 summers ago. Well, I said the Toronto Raptors are now the most valuable sports franchise in all of Canada. They are. They've been for like 3 years now. They were more valuable than the Leafs like 2 years ago. This is not news. This is something that has been fact for a couple years already. Yeah. Let's see. Cool Cat saying, I was hoping that the Nuggets would stay sluggish and we would sneak out a W. We made them work hard in the end to close out the game. Laugh out loud. It was fun. The champion team had to smarten up. Laugh out loud. Nah, they're too smart, and their coach is too much of a competitor. I have a lot of respect for Michael Malone. As I said, he's a legacy coach with our team. His father's our first coach, and he's the NBA champion coach right now. What's not to like? I like Michael Malone. I like his anti-Laker trolling. I like that he's like not all about the Lakers, and he gets pissed that people talk about LeBron and the Lakers so much. There's all kinds of things I like about the Nuggets, and he is one of them. Their coach is a very awesome coach, and I got a lot of respect for him. He has a standard of professionalism. He's not going to let his team just cruise control. If he can do anything to rise them up and try and get them to win in the second half, he will. And of course, he's effective at doing that. He doesn't have to say a whole lot to Nikola and Jamal. He's probably like, you know what? What are you guys doing? You're the champs. You're playing a bunch of guys that were in the G League some of them, and some of them are just like, this is not the best Raptors team. You should not be losing to them like this. Come on, guys, smarten up. It probably wasn't that hard to encourage them to get back. And in some ways, they see it themselves, the players, for sure. For sure. Monique saying those who hate Darko ain't really fans. I think you're right. I think you're exactly right. They're not giving him a fair shot. In some ways, they're not knowledgeable fans. The critiques of Darko right now are ridiculous. If they're all about just win loss percentage, ridiculous. If it's because they have this weird idea that he's an assistant coach, he's not a head coach, that's ridiculous. I've given my reasons for why that is truly not evident. If he was just an assistant coach, he would have less respect around this league. He has an amazing amount of respect with the referees and his peer coaches already. So, man, there's so many bad arguments about why Darko's doing bad that I could destroy in a heartbeat if they throw it out in front of me. Like, tell me why you don't like Darko. That's why I ask people. Tell me why you don't like Darko, and I'll answer you, and I'll tell you why it's kind of silly what you're saying. He's not perfect. He's gonna make mistakes sometimes, but he's doing a lot more right than wrong. And in some ways, you want that in your coach. You want a confidence and a consistency, and he has got that. And everybody's undermining Darko as being the coach. Well, I look at you as either turncoats, wolves in sheep's clothing from other fan bases, or just dumb fans that just really don't know fucking basketball. That's really the three categories. Is that? Let's see. Fiercely saying Lex Marquise posted stories of him in Raptors jersey and also with Darko. Yeah, I saw this. Marquise, listen, he may not be so totally media savvy. In some ways, I feel like he's made a couple mistakes on his social media this year. In fact, I know where you live, Marquise, because of where you live next to the CBC building and near the tower, because you keep showing a picture out your window. You've got to understand those landmarks will give away your building, and people can pinpoint exactly where you live if you put certain landmarks out there. I know exactly where you live. You live above a spa that I took Adrienne and my mother to last summer for a spa day on their birthdays. Yeah, you live in the same building. There's a spa downstairs in it. I know exactly where you live, Marquise, because of your social media. Well, I think he made a mistake earlier this week with some of his crazy, cryptic, religious fire and brimstone posts. And, he may have got a backlash. You heard how I reacted to it on the stream. And, well, maybe he was sending that message out and he gave the wrong message. And maybe in some ways he was mad at the Raptors or something. Well, he wanted to overcorrect and show that he's not mad at the Raptors. So he's showing a bunch of pictures of him in the Raptors stuff, him playing for the Raptors when he got his points and got his professional debut, him with Coach Darko, him in Raptors gear, him at Raptors games. In some ways, he's sending a message to his fans, yo, stop stabbing the Raptors in the back just because of what I said. Don't just jump to conclusions, Kansas State fans that love me, fans that love Marquise Noel, New York fans. Don't get mad at the Raptors because I'm not mad at them. If you may have misinterpreted what I said, and I'm not really mad at them. In fact, I want to keep this opportunity. And that's why I was trying to warn him. Be careful what you post, Marquise. It can be misconstrued. And you may not have been mad at the Raptors the whole time, but we thought you were because of losing your two-way. And also, it made sense. So it's like, oh, he's all mad. He's like, don't give up on me. I'll come back. And so like, well, obviously he's talking to the Raptors. Well, he had to go and overcorrect and make posts of him happy in the Raptors jersey, maybe to keep some of his fans off of our backs and say, no, don't get mad at the Raptors. Seriously, they're giving me a chance still. I may have been demoted right now recently, but seriously, they're telling me I still have a path in the future with them. And that's what I was trying to tell him. Don't burn bridges that aren't need to be burned, is what I was trying to say. So I'm glad he's gone on this campaign to try and make it right by showing that he is cool with the Raptors still in all kinds of ways. So good job, Marquise. Damage control is good. And in some ways, think twice. Everything you're going to fucking think about posting, you need to think it through and think about all the different kinds of ramifications of what could come back around at you from what you post. So you just need to be really savvy about that. Just be smart, please. Dana said, I give my two-finger salute to all the Darko haters today. Yeah, I'm with you, Dana. I'm giving it to them too. I was so dismayed and disappointed. I go in to see the interviews after the game on the Raptors YouTube channel, and there's so many anti-Darko comments underneath it. I really do feel like, first of all, just like in politics, there's a lot of either bots or people paid just to do negative campaigns. on certain politicians and certain sides. I feel like there's a way more of this kind of consensus shaping on social media by fake accounts or just by people that are paid to do it or just people that have bad intentions that want to get out there and try and manipulate what the consensus is. In some ways, this has been very much a tool used in politics with Trump people to go and inundate comment sections with bullshit favoring Trump just to make it appear like it is the common sentiment and what people want. That's the problem. There's a lot of these idiots that are filling up comment sections with negative things about Darko. It's a very much the same playbook. They want make people think, casuals, people that aren't really paying attention, that most people think the coach is not good. And that's the problem. That's why in some ways RFF needs to be the counterbalance. In these places where you do see people dissing Darko, write a positive comment about him otherwise, just so that there's an alternative like kind of message about it also. If you want to engage directly with some of these fucks and reply to them, that's on your own. You invite that yourself. But I would say you don't even need to. Just give an alternative reality, one that is real about how good the coach is, and give examples. Give good examples. If they just say, "Oh, he's horrible in this," and they don't give any reasons, it's just like bullshits in politics where they're just bullshit and they have no meat to their argument. You know, you can say certain things politically, but if you have no answers, then what the fuck is the use of you? That's what I'm saying. If y'all come with information that makes sense, some of the things that I may have said on this channel and say, well, Darko had one of the most difficult years. You think about the turnover. This team had the most players play for it than any of the 30 teams in the NBA. 28 players played in the Raptors jersey this year. That's way more than anybody else in this whole entire league. And, you know, you can give facts and battle dumbass opinions with facts. That's what I would say. And that's only up to you. You don't need to do that. If you feel like doing it, you have the burning desire to do it, I'd say do it in places that matter. Don't do it in fucking dumbass places in Twitter. Do it on official Raptors accounts and post by them. That's the best place to do it right there, because the Raptors fans come there and they'll see this. They may look at the comment section. They see all these anti-Darko people. Well, let's make some pro-Darko people show up in those comments also. This is the best way we can handle things on our own, in a way we can do it. That's what I would say right there. Yeah. Blackhawks saying, love the development for the players. What would be good to see is Darko develop as a head coach, better timeout calls and out of bounds sets. Well, he is developing as a coach, and I don't think that he's that bad, honestly. I really don't. I'm really paying attention to him closely, Neil. And I'm really impressed with him. As much as all these people are so negative about him, honestly, I really do feel like he's a really good coach. He's going to do really good things for us in the years to come. So I don't think that he needs to develop as a head coach in that way. I think he does really good with the timeouts overall. I don't think his timeouts are bad. I think he calls timeouts better than Nick. I mean, if we're going to gauge things, let's gauge it by our last coach. Darko calls timeouts way better than Nick Nurse. I'm going to say that right now. You can say out of bounds sets. Well, right now, how do we judge an out of bounds set without the full complement of our roster and talent? Like, how the fuck do you judge an out of bounds set on this? I think that he does very well with the timeouts. And this is the thing. Don't even think about the first play out of the out of bounds set after the timeout. Often he is successful with it. Think about the energy and the reset of the recalibration of maybe more attention to the defense and trying to stop them from getting easy access to the lane and getting easy baskets. Think about how maybe they're more pepped up on offense and they're making baskets better after a timeout. Don't just look at the first play off the set of the out of bounds. Look at the demeanor of the team. And if they switch their energy and they're getting better efficiency or better results from their play on the court, that's the stuff you should look at after timeouts. Is the game feel like it changed after he called the timeout? That's an effective timeout, and that's effective stuff like that. So, Neil, in some ways, I see you kind of being a little bit negative towards him. I'm super protective of him right now. And I would just say, let's look for the bright side and the good stuff, because there's way more of that to like a learned, educated NBA fan than like just, oh, let's look at the win losses. Let's look at this and just criticize them for this. It's ridiculous. Fiercely saying, I'm just happy almost everyone got to play and develop. And yes, even McDaniels was impactful with his active defense. I saw stuff in him last night that made me want to have him on our team next year. Yeah. Yeah. I feel like he's a very serviceable player. In some ways, if we don't keep Chris, well, he gives us some of the Chris stuff if Chris leaves. And you know what? I really like Jalen McDaniels. In some ways, I could see him being on the Raptors next year and being very helpful to us, even though he's been in the woodwork and kind of in the background this whole season. I can see a talent in him that's actually really good. He's a good scorer. That's the one thing. He's got a good shot and he's a good scorer. He can block shots. He rebounds. There's a lot of good things about him. And if we look at his brother in Minnesota and what he's grown into, there's no reason why we can't think that Jalen still can't develop under Darko and be something else next year. So I really am leaning towards wanting to keep McDaniels, partly because of his last couple of performances for us on this road trip. So let's see. G Sanwara has been a Raptors fan his entire life. He also came to the All Star game in Toronto. That's what he said in a little snippet that they released yesterday, official Raptors account. Jordan Wara's first ever NBA game was the NBA All Star game in Toronto, the one where Aaron Gordon and Zach Levine had their dunk contest. This is very interesting. It makes me realize how young Jordan Wara is. You know, they talked a lot about the connection between the city of Buffalo and Toronto and the sports cities and all the different things, like whether it's the Blue Jays having to play there during the pandemic, the Sky Dome hosting Buffalo Bills games, you know, the rivalry between the Sabres and the Leafs, all the different sports connections between the city of Buffalo and Toronto are very strong. We share a TV market. We get Buffalo channels here in Toronto, and they get Toronto channels there. And Jordan Wara said, growing up, I was a big Toronto fan because Buffalo's proximity to Toronto is very much there. So he's been a Raptor fan too, just like Kelly Olynyk, just like RJ, for his life too. And he was at the championship parade. He was at all these different events that happened recently in the Raptors, and he's a real one. In fact, I loved hearing that about Jordan. I mean, it makes sense. You know, in some ways, I wouldn't think that, okay, this guy, he's American, he would be a Raptors fan like this, but no, he is, because the market was his market. Toronto was his market. The Raptors were his market. He could have been a Knicks fan. He could have been a Nets fan. But no, he was a Raptors fan. And honestly, this is something I talked about a couple of years ago. I'm just so glad it's happening. It's coming to fruition. You could even find the stream on here, maybe from very early on when I first started, saying that we need to get more people on the Raptors that are loyal to the franchise. We need to get more people that grew up and were fans of the team, like Kem Birch. This is part of the reason why I loved Kem Birch so much, because in some ways he's the first guy that we got that espoused that I was a fan of this team as a little kid. My father used to drive me from Montreal to go to Raptors games in the early 2000s. This is what Kem Birch said. And you know what? I love that. I love that whole aspect. In some ways, I love the fulfillment of a dream. You grow up and then boom, all of a sudden you're a Raptor. It's just like a little kid who grows up in New York and wants to be a Yankee. It's just like a little kid who grows up in South Central and they want to be a Laker. You know, this kind of shit is important for our legacies and our building more and more culture for the Raptors. That at some point there were going to be kids that grew up and watched the Raptors that were going to want to become Raptors. And we have like 4 or 5 of them on our team now. You know, we could say Kelly, RJ, Jordan. These guys all want to be Raptors. Delano Bant wanted to be a Raptor. He became a Raptor. So these kind of fan players on our team, people that were fans of the Raptors when they were younger, and then they end up on our team. This is a great synergy and bonus to have. Because in some ways, we worried about guys like Vince pulling punches and not trying hard enough. Well, these guys from Canada, they're not going to do that. They're not going to do that. And it's evident right now when we see RJ and Kelly busting their ass on the court like they do, the way they do it. Jordan is in that group. Jordan is in that group as a Buffalo guy. And it's really cool. I love it. Dana's saying, good morning, everyone. I wasn't mad that we lost. Let's get the next one. Or not. Let's go Raptors. Well, tomorrow is a doable one, right? The Pistons in Toronto West. Our fans, will you be going to Detroit tomorrow to help support the Raptors in the Detroit arena? Probably will be some there. Maybe they'll be loud to an extent. Nako may be going. I don't know. Nako, are you going to Detroit tomorrow? Maybe not. He might have to work. But yeah, we'll see. In some ways, listen, this could be a very interesting thing where Raptors fans go get really bent out of shape if we lose to the Pistons tomorrow again. You know, we've already lost the Pistons this year, and people were upset about that. Well, we lose them again tomorrow. Is that going to be a big deal? Because in some ways, it's in our best interest. It really is. I mean, I kind of want to get the win against the Pistons because in some ways I want to prove, yeah, we're still trying to win here and there, and we should not lose to the Pistons because the Pistons are the Pistons. Now they're not the worst team in the league anymore. The Wizards are now. The Wizards are actually worse than the Pistons at this point. Who would have thunk it with how bad the Pistons were earlier this season? Either way, listen, Raptors fans, if you're so worried about winning, don't watch us for the rest of the season. Seriously, come back and we'll see you next year around training camp. If you don't care, you want to just see the development stuff that's interesting to you, like it is for us, then watch and see. But don't get upset if they lose the Pistons tomorrow. In some ways, that may be very much not planned, but okay. Let's just put it that way. It may be okay. That's like what she's saying, or not, or not. Maybe we won't win tomorrow, but we shouldn't get upset about it if we don't. Mo's saying, I booked my ride today for the Raptors coaches open house next week. Awesome, Mo. A week from today, we will be sitting at the coaches open house, a bunch of us in person, watching the coaches of the Raptors teach us about coaching at the coaches open house. It's a great event. It's free. And a lot of the RFF are going to be down there meeting up and sitting as a group in the crowd to hear the lectures. Once again, I want to say this, guys, no cameras at this event in any kind of way. Do not think you're going to come down there and get pictures with anybody. They forbid it. If they see you bring your camera out and try and film or take any pictures of this event, they will throw you out because this is a closed event. This is a private event. This is a closed practice. They're going to be talking about things, the coaches and the players in the practice on the court, that people should not see or hear because they're secretive for our team. So this is part of why this is a special event, because you're going to get to see the Raptors have a closed pack practice that nobody's supposed to know about or publicly. And that's why they're this is extremely important rule. No pictures. You do not want it to ask for any pictures with any players or any people. If you do that, they will throw you out. They will throw you out. And the other thing is, treat this like it's university. Treat this like it's school. Don't treat this like, oh, we're going down there for a good time and hang out. We're going to be socializing and hanging out in the crowd. No, we all need to shut the fuck up and watch and listen to their lectures. This is like going to class and sitting with the pen and paper and taking notes and listening to your teachers. So in some ways, I don't want anybody that's involved with the channel to reflect badly on us because of any kind of shenanigans. I know we're fun people and we're crazy, but I don't want us to look bad because somebody's like making a scene or something. So let's just go in there like it's school. We watch. We don't take any. If you get your camera out, they may even come over and tell you to leave. If you get your phone out in any kind of way, I'm telling you, this is how it is. When I went the last year that Nick Nurse did it, this is the most important thing. They really don't want you to have your phones out in any kind of way like that. Just so y'all know ahead of time. So don't try and take snapshots of them on the court. Don't take any snapshots of the coaches talking. Nothing. No video, no camera, nothing. You take any of that, they're going to throw you out. I'm going to tell you that right now. Fiercely saying, little dirty, Lex. Kelly was pushing others a lot, but he's on our team. I'm good with it. Also, Jokic asked to have a flopping call on him due to his theatrics. Yeah, that was funny. He did, and he got it. Well, no, he didn't get the flopping call, but he did ask for something else, and he did get it. Yeah, there was some other thing that he called for, and they listened to him. And there was it was the out of bounds. It was the out of bounds. He said no, the out of bounds was on them, and they went and looked at it. We tried to hurry it up and keep the game going because they were showing we had possession, but then Nikola got them to challenge it, and then that's what happened. Yeah, Kelly's awesome. Kelly is dirty, but he's on our team. Exactly. Kelly is dirty, but he's on our team. Most saying congratulations on a great career, Otto Porter Jr. Happy retirement. Thinking of you, Chris Boucher, heavily. Oh man, oh man. So yeah, Otto retired yesterday. He was waived by the Jazz finally yesterday. We wasn't sure what was going on with Otto because he wasn't playing for the Jazz, but I hadn't heard any news about what his status was. Well, they finally waived him yesterday, and he immediately announced his retirement from the NBA. Well, we did an Olajuwon with him, guys. We got him paid a little bit more. At least it wasn't an exorbitant amount. Like, honestly, it's not like Otto Porter got paid an incredible amount with us. I think he made only like $2 million a year with us. So it wasn't like he was absolutely shafting us. In some ways, you can make the argument that his leadership behind the scenes and mentorship with some of the guys may have been worth it. I don't know. A lot of people say he was a bust. He was stealing money from us. Okay, whatever. You go ahead and have that opinion, but I won't be so pessimistic and negative about it. I'll be like, okay, Otto Porter was on our team for a couple years. It didn't work out. So be it. This is what happens in the NBA. You can take chances. Some even say, look, why did he get him? Well, he was coming off a championship year with the Golden State Warriors, and he is absolutely a great addition. In theory, the ideas of having Otto on our team were absolutely smart. It didn't pan out. It didn't work out. I'm not mad at Bobby Masai for taking a flyer on him and trying to get him. I can remember that time. It sounded like a hugely great idea to add him to our mix when we acquired him. A lot of people were very happy that we had signed Otto Porter Jr. the year after he won the championship with the Warriors that year. So I don't know. You guys, look, if we could write history, yeah, we wish he had done whole kinds of things more for the Raptors and really earned his money a little bit better. Maybe not out for a toe injury for his whole first year, pretty much. And this year, while he was on our team, he did come out and play a little bit, but not a whole lot. It's not probably bang for your buck with Otto Porter Jr., but making that free agency signing at that time was a good idea. It had a good idea behind it. It just didn't work out. It's not like everything you do in the NBA works out, guys. As Darko said, as Masai said, Koloko. Think about Koloko. We didn't do anything wrong with Koloko. It's just that things went south with his health, and now he's just not on our team. You can't say that's a fail or a bad idea what we did. You can see what Koloko was. And that was brilliant. In some ways, you can say the same damn thing about Otto Porter if you really, really think about it. Is it our fault that Koloko got blood clots and he can't be on our team right now? No. Was it our fault that Otto Porter had all of a sudden a very bad toe injury that threatened the rest of his career, and he had to manage it day to day after that for the rest of his career until he retired yesterday? It's all how you want to look at it. You want to be a negative ninny and go ahead and look at all the warts of it? Go ahead. You live a miserable life. I'm going to look at the positives and say, well, Otto Porter wore our jersey for a little while. We paid him some money. It didn't work out. It is what it is. It is what it is. Chrissy's saying, nice, Monique. Enjoy next week. Yeah, we got a good group coming down there. There's going to be a lot of us. I think we're going to be we'll see who shows up. It's going to be early. I'm going to be there at 8 a.m. I'm going to get there with Adriana at 8 a.m. and we'll meet at the gate 1 inside. That's where they pool everybody together to go in there. I'm sure there'll be some people lining up before 8, but I think 8's reasonable. Because even if you have to take some time to get in there, the event doesn't start till 9. So I'll be there at 8 a.m. and I'll get in line. If somebody else is already there, well, maybe I'll get in line with you. If I'm there before y'all and you see me, maybe you can jump in line with me. And we'll figure it out. We'll make it a group and we'll be like, hey, buddy, here, come on, jump in with me. Some people may be like, well, it doesn't matter. They're all going to get in. And it's not like there's priority seating or anything like that. So even if you keep your group together in line, it shouldn't be a big deal. But if you get there before 8:15, you will probably be able to get in line with me. Now, if you get there later, if you come after 8:15, between 8:15 and 9 o'clock, well, you'll have to come in afterwards and find us in the seats. And we'll hopefully have a bunch of seats to sit with you. So that's kind of what is going on right there with next week. And like I said, I'm expecting like maybe from 10 to 15 of the RFF down there as a group. And if you can, wear your shirts. If you don't, I think Evelyn might be bringing new ones. So that's the thing. If y'all don't have Raptor Freak shirts and you haven't come to a meet and greet before, you're going to get one if you come this time. If you're coming next Tuesday and you don't have a shirt, you're probably going to get one because Evelyn will have them. And we're giving them to you. They're free. We don't charge you money for them. We do not. We give you those shirts because you're a real one. That's right. That's right. Let's see. David's saying Jamal was annoying last night. NBA is so lame, but sick game, Raps. Jamal Murray, I don't hate him. I mean, how can you hate Kitchener's finest? How can you hate this guy? In some ways, him winning the championship last year was awesome. You know what? He's maligned. In some ways, I root for him because of how the NBA overlooks him. The fact that this man is not an all-star yet is bullshit. The fact that he's one of the most prolific postseason scorers in recent history for the NBA and is not an all-star is bullshit. There's all kinds of things I could say about this. Jamal Murray, in some ways, is not getting his due respect by the league overall. And in some ways, that makes me love him, is because he deserves so much more. I wonder how much of this is because he's Canadian. I wonder how much of this is because he plays on the Nuggets. Those are two reasons right there. Two reasons right there. Yeah. David's saying NBA better watch out. Missing 80% of our starting roster, and it was still a game. Sheesh. Y'all gonna be fucked in a couple years, I guess. I mean, we can't really extrapolate from this game in that kind of way, but maybe we can with Scotty and Jakob and Emmanuel missing last night. I mean, it's real easy to see like we could be so much even better than what we were last night with the talent added from the guys who are missing. I feel like our future is really bright, and it's seen in the passing of RJ and Grady last night. It's seen in like the promise of some of the young guys right now. Yeah. Chris is here. Good to see Chris. Great coach game by Darko. Sure, Jokic woke up in the third and Murray hit shots, but hey, we had some great signs. Many of our youth look good. Jonte and Grady can score from anywhere. Yeah. Yeah. I feel like it was like a really eye-opening game for me with Grady. Grady, oh my gosh. And Jonte's come a long way. Like, honestly, we could look at where Grady and Jonte were in December and where they are now in March. And they've made light leaps. They've made light year leaps in their games and developing and being better. Grady, especially, but Jonte on the down low also. Jonte on the down low also. Cowboys saying, let's go, Darko. That's right. Let's grow, Darko also. Nako saying, I don't even think that's a normal Jokic game. Like, yeah, he did a little bit of everything, but it's rare to have that stat line. No, that's normal for him right now. It's weird because the league is so juiced up with his offense right now. We're seeing phenomena like Luca right now. What has Luca been doing recently, Gerald? He's averaging a 30-point triple double 7 games in a row. He's done a triple double with 30 points for 7 games in a row, Gerald. Something's wrong in the NBA. Offense is crazy. No, that's a normal game for Nikola. That's not a really, really good game for him. That's normal what he did last night 35, 17, and 12, whatever he did. That's a normal game for Jokic. The first half was not normal for him, and he caught up in the second half. Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. Chris is saying Jonte looked capable. His defense has improved. Really has. Watch the Nuggets stream, and they had good things to say about him. Also, that Grady plays hard defense now, but Abaji's a bit dirty out there. I like that. I don't mind Abaji being dirty. He's got strength in his shoulders and his arms. Use it. You got it? Use it. This league is dirty at this point. There's a lot of dirtiness every which way. So we need dirty guys like Kelly Olynyk and Oshai Abaji. So no, I'm not upset about this. In some ways, if Abaji wants to get his licks in, just because the other side's going to get guys that get their licks in too. So we might as well have that too. We don't want to be a soft ass, punk ass team. And in some ways, guys like RJ, Kelly, and Oshai make sure we aren't a team that gets punked. You feel like listen, in some ways, you trade Siakam and Anunoby for Kelly and RJ. Do you feel like our getting punked factor went down because in some ways Anunoby and Siakam, they're different kind of leaders. They're not the kind of leaders that RJ and Kelly are as far as like fierceness and kind of like this is getting back to Patrick Beverly and dog mentality. In some ways, RJ and Kelly like care in different ways than Pascal and OG did back in the day. I'm not trying to diss these guys. It's just different personalities. In some ways, it's kind of what you do it for. And Siakam does it for his dad and for us and doing it for you. He said that. But in some ways, he doesn't do it the same way as RJ does it when he's doing it for us. Think about that. Think about what I'm talking about right now. Some of it's determination. Some of it's very much thought out and like I'm premeditating. I'm going to go do this instead of just being kind of creative and improvising on the fly. You know, RJ's actually really thinking like I'm going to take this ball to them and I'm going to go up over them with my left and I'm put it high off the glass and they're not going to stop me. In some ways, Siakam may have like when he attacked the rim, he's really kind of like looking for what to do, and he may make it up in the second that he finally takes the shot. No, RJ's very much got a path that he's trying to go do and beat the guy to get to the ball to go in the rim. And you can see that. That's what I'm saying. There's a different kind of determination with our Canadian guys from Toronto compared to some of the old guys who are on our team. And that in some ways is a nice new development to me. It really is because these guys really care. And that's something that I wondered about, especially with the unprofessional part of our season in November this year. How much do these guys really fucking care about helping the Raptors win? I know they do. And I know they say, oh, we want to win. We want to win. But in some ways, you can tell the difference in what I'm trying to describe right now. You can tell the difference. Yeah. Let's see. Seymour saying, "What a game! Didn't know Jokic cried so much to the refs. All in all, good game. A minus for effort." Yeah, he was whining and complaining to the refs a lot. Everybody in the league's doing that to an extent. They have their own different ways. Jokic is doing a lot of like this and "Ooh," and this and yeah. Yeah, infamous saying salute freaks. Jalen McDaniels and Doo Brown need to exit the team immediately. Get these dudes out of here immediately. Yeah, I don't think that Jalen McDonald's is that bad. Actually, I was speaking highly about him from this game, and I was saying I'd like him to be on the team next year. Now, Bruce, you don't have to call him Doo Brown. I mean, listen, this guy, in some ways, I didn't trust him last night. I've already talked about that. Let's see. Davis saying, yeah, me neither. I didn't know him and Luca were related. Well, they're like two of the Three Stooges. Seriously, I've made this joke that you could do a Three Stooges in the NBA, and like Luca's Larry, Nicholas Curly, and Mo is LeBron. And you could just do a Three Stooges show with those guys, and it would be hilarious. And Mo would be the angry one, of course, just like he always is. Nicola would be Curly, perfect Curly. Yeah, in some ways, it's like, you know what? These guys are going to argue and complain. And yeah, he does have similarities to Luca in this area, for sure. For sure. For sure. Seymour saying Kelly was fighting for us hard. A little weird seeing hugs after the game after all that scrapping. Well, like I said, these are two teams that actually have a lot of connections and love for each other. Think about this, Seymour. If Jamal Murray's lining up in that starting lineup with RJ and Kelly this summer in Paris, think about that. That's part of it there. You know, Jamal's been at practice with those guys. So in some ways, there's a teammate stuff there. And once again, the Kansas connections from Abrun to Dick and Abaji, you know, there was a lot of love shared. Porter brothers, you know, there's a lot of love shared here. I think in some ways, Michael Malone has a soft spot for the Raptors franchise just because of his dad. So there's a lot of love between these two sides. And it makes sense why they'd be hugging and jersey swapping after the game. And even if there was a battle and there was dirty stuff from Kelly and other people on the court, Infamous is saying, in my opinion, Darko taking so long to put RJ back in the fourth may have cost us the game. You know, they were talking about this on the broadcast, and Alvin said, oh, you got to bring him back in now. We weren't trying to win, Infamous. In some ways we were, but in some ways we weren't. I mean, listen, don't get all bent out of shape about costing us the game. We can't do this. In some ways, this is the thing. Once again, we're playing the Nuggets, the champions. This is the top team in the league. They've been beating everybody. They're absolutely badasses. They've handled the Celtics really well recently. So it's like, you know, we got to think about this. Think about this realistically. As I said, on ESPN's front page right now, there's an article saying that 20 is the new 12, that a 12-point lead is the same as a 20-point lead at this point. 20-point meaning isn't jack shit, and especially against a high-octane NBA that is today. So, I mean, listen, you're all trying to pinpoint where we lost the game. I'm not trying to do that. There's all kinds of ways we lost the game last night. But it's not worth trying to pinpoint why, because in some ways the outcome is exactly what we needed. Why are you upset about this? We went 2% points up that we're going to keep our pick. That, you know, in some ways we won in every kind of way last night, even though we didn't win. We look good. That we got good development. We kept the champs on the ropes for a bit, and we still ended up losing, which is the best interest for us as a franchise going for the rest of the season. So what's to be upset? Why do you want to pinpoint where we lost the game? Who cares? The game happened the way it did. If we'd won, yeah, I'd be happy. But in some ways, I'm glad we didn't win too. I mean, you got to look at it. What is the priorities right now, Infamous? David's saying, yeah, it's not always easy to get that right. A lot of times they were hoping for a whistle and a break to sub to avoid taking a timeout. Well, there are manipulative ways where the refs won't call a whistle. They see a guy trying to come back in, and you know, they may actually like do it on purpose, where they don't want to help this team get a player in that they desperately want to get in. That is a ref manipulation that I've seen in this league. So be aware of that. Be aware of that they will do that. I'm not worried about this. I mean, if you're going to nitpick about when he put RJ back in, that's not worth talking about. That's not worth talking about. That may have been more worth it maybe 2 months ago to talk about it in that kind of way, Infamous, but not now. Not in the state we're in, where we're doing with our goals for the rest of the season. If you made a comment like that, maybe like before Scotty broke his hand, then I would look at it. But right now, there's no point in looking at the catalyst or the moment where we lost the game. There's no point in that. David's saying Darko actually uses his timeouts, so he likes to be mindful of when he uses them, it seems. No, he's been very good about it. I can't be upset with him. Like I said, he's a better person with timeouts than Nick. Absolutely way better. He's a better offensive coach than Nick. He's a better players coach than Nick. He's a better culture coach than Nick. There's all kinds of reasons why he's a better coach than Nick. Now, Nick may be better than him in certain things, but there's a lot on the list that Darko's better than Nick. And I'll say that right there. Yeah. Cowboys saying it's all part of the plan, infamous. That's right. Ta-da. Ta-da Services, Cleaning Services, Inc. Call 647-833-6844 if you need mold and water damage repairs. If you need flooring in your house because of mold and water and damage repairs, they can do it all. And starting as low as $89. So call Bradley, the Canadian Cowboy, at Tada Services, 647-833-6844. And on that note, are you thinking of buying or selling or leasing? Ask how I can save you money. Brent Tuck, Home Life, Higher Standards, Mortgage and Realty Brokerage. Yeah, I don't know why I'm doing the ad on the other side today. I don't know why. I just turned it around and said, Brent Tuck. There's Brent right up all in your grill. Hi, I'm Brent Tuck, and I can do some realty for you. Realty. All right, there you go. Ta-da! 647-833-6844. Yeah, I don't know why I flipped the side on that. Brent Tuck. All right, let's see. Wayne's saying there's nobody on the Nuggets I dislike. Nikola pissed me off before with his dirty play against Scotty, but that's a team that actually plays basketball. I don't remember that. You mean Joel, right? When did Nikola do a dirty thing to Scotty? Joel was the one who did the dirty thing, the big centers that run for MVPs. I don't remember the Nikola dirty shot to Scotty. I'm trying to remember it. The only thing I remember with the Nuggets and Scotty is Scott Foster and his "you're cheating," that incident. That's the only one. I'm trying to remember what Nikola did to Scotty that was so dirty. Are you sure? Maybe there's something that I forget. You can maybe remind me. But yeah, I like this team overall mostly. There's a couple guys on the team I'm not like totally big fans of. Like I'm not a big fan of Aaron Gordon. I think that Aaron Gordon's annoying. I didn't like him with Orlando. That's where I got the baggage with him. The playoff battles with Orlando and the Raptors in the past. Him kind of being a whiny bitch about the dunk competition. I know, I get it. You probably should have won in Toronto. I get it, bro. I get it. Zach LaVine probably should not have won that dunk contest. You should have probably won. And you are getting robbed in that. But in some ways, his attitude and the way he carries himself is annoying to me. Aaron Gordon's the one I don't like on their team. I like Michael Porter more now because of Jonte. He was kind of more towards like Aaron Gordon too, in my book and opinion. But Jonte's made me like his brother more. So, and Jamal, I love Jamal, and Nikola is somebody I extremely respect, and I love that he's the best player in the league, and he's so unmarketable, and he rebels and he rejects it all. In some ways, he's a thorn in the side of the NBA at the top. And that's why I love Nikola Jokic, because he is exactly who they did not want to be, the top player in the league, and he is. He's undeniably the best player in the league, and they just don't know how to market him. They can't. It's so good. It's so awesome. I love it. Oh, let's see. Infamous is saying, salute Canadian Cowboy. I have a seeking suspicion that Darko lost on purpose. No, it's not that he lost on purpose. It's just that the Nuggets are that good. Once again, we can't be so egotistical that everything just revolves around us and everything happens because of us. No. We're the shitty team. They're the champions, and they determine what happened. They want to come back and beat us. Well, they're going to try and come back and beat us. You know how hard it is to hold off a really good team like that when they wake up, a lumbering giant that's coming at you that has all the experience in the world because they played together for 6 years. Yeah, that's really, really hard, especially when you have a team that's been together for 2 months. So it's not that anybody did anything on purpose. It's just the game went. I thought the whole time. I wasn't so dumb and thinking, oh, we're going to win because we're up by 22. I never thought that during the game last night. I said, we got to be really smart. If we play smart for most of the game, we have a chance to win. But it's the Nuggets. They're going to try and come back, and they're going to claw back, and they're going to make a good chance to try and win it themselves. And they did. They did exactly that. It had nothing to do with us. It had to do with Michael Malone talking to them at halftime and waking Jamal and Joker up and getting them to start playing in the second half. So in some ways, we can't be so egotistical and saying, oh, Darko let them win. No, they came and took the win because they're the champs, and that's what they wanted to do. Yeah. Let's see. Chris is saying, Yes, indeed. Grady is very smart. You can see that he reads the court very well. He had one assist on a bullet pass into the post. He just needs more strength. He's surprising for just about everyone. Totally agree. I was wrong about Grady. I'll apologize to Grady and Masai and everybody over and over again. Grady, I'm not going to doubt you anymore. I'm excited about the future. You keep doing what you do, my guy. You are amazing. Grady, Grady, Grady. Let's go. Let's go. Dap the sheriff. Dap, dap, dap. Most saying, anyone notice Grady's family and the fans in the crowd? Yeah, yeah. Grady's parents very much in the front. And then there were Kansas fans on the end line. There were a couple of fans in different places. And once again, we had a lot of Raptor fans on the road in Denver supporting the team. A lot of people wearing Raptors apparel in the building. I love the Raptor freaks and the Raptor fans all around the world. Y'all are real ones that show up on the road and travel real far to come see the Raptors on the away games. You guys are awesome. You guys are awesome. Now, I go saying Grady absolutely been better than advertised. I think so too. In some ways, well, I'll give you credit, Nako. You want me to? I said you like Grady during the draft, and you brought him up, and you were saying, "Yeah, I like him." So, Nako, I'm going to give you credit today once again for being high on Grady Dick when I wasn't last year during the draft time. And you're right, Gerald. So there you go. That's so nice to see you were right about our draft pick, and I was wrong. And I'm very, very happy that our draft pick is not a bust. I'm not a hater that it has to be, oh, I'm right, I'm right. There'll be some people that like were anti Darko or anti Grady, and they get proven wrong later. They aren't man enough to admit it and say, oh, I was wrong, like I just did to Gerald, Bount Grady Dick. Well, some of y'all Darko haters down the road, I want y'all to come around and do what I just did when it's very evident that we're right about Darko. He's a good coach, and everything's gonna be right, fine. And this has happened with Grady now recently. I can turn around and say, you know what, Gerald, you were right about Grady last year during the draft. I'm sorry that I poo-pooed it. I'm sorry that I was not listening to you and I was going on my own opinions, which I was wrong. And you were right. There you go. I can admit when I'm wrong, and somebody else was right, and Joe was right last year about Grady Dick. Now, I want everybody who's critical about Darko to do the same damn thing in the next couple of years when this same phenomena happens around the name Darko Rajakovic. Yeah, I want them to do the same damn thing I just did. David's saying, when our head office drafts someone 13th overall, I assume they made the right choice. Nothing about Grady is surprising. Well, I have to say it is, David, because I saw a goofy blonde-headed kid from Kansas that looked weak, slow, and didn't look like he could play the speed of the NBA, and I was wrong. And that's what I'm talking about right now. No, I'm not saying that I assumed this. I did not. I did not. This is taking a long time. David saying dunk for Country Kong, biggest Grady believer. Yeah, during the season, initially it was Gerald, but JP has definitely been the Grady champion in this place. So all right, we will give him a dunk in his absence. We'll give a dunk to our guy JP. Yeah, Country Kong. Yeah, good stuff. All right, he's at Doug Christie 13 or Steve Nash 13. I could say that too. Let's see. Seymour saying Grady's shot is wet. Splash some threes. You know, y'all talked about comparing him to Curry recently with his prolific shooting, his percentage. Like his mechanics and the way he does things really do lend to that. I don't know if he'll get any kind of percentage of shooting deadly like Steph Curry over time, but maybe he will. I don't think he will be as good as Steph, obviously. But if he can shoot some sort of percentage close to him for his career, that's a very successful career. And I think he could. I think he could. It may not be on the scale of Stephen Curry, but there is a chance that he could have the same kind of shooting percentages as Steph at the end of his career. Like as far as field goals, 3 points, and free throws. We could see it. We could see it. That's right. Fiercely saying, Lex, I'm happy you changed your mind about Grady and see him being drafted was a blessing in disguise. He is good, active, shares the ball, shoots well, attacks the paint, nice personality, a diamond. Yeah, I mean, I didn't want to be right, honestly. I said it immediately after when I was like, I don't really agree with their draft pick. The day after they drafted him, I was like, this is not who I would have picked, but I want to trust in them. I want to believe in them. And if I'm wrong, I'll be very happy that I was wrong. And that's what's happened. So, you know what? Listen, it's not that I ever was against him or didn't, in some ways, it's like I didn't believe in him last summer. And then there were periods of time last fall where it's like, man, this was not the right pick. But now he really has proven that he is the right pick. And thank God. Thank God. But that wasn't totally like overnight. It took him playing really a high level with the Raptors in the last 2 months. Yeah. All right. Yeah, those are the answers from there. Charlie Ward, you thought that was Charlie Ward. No, this is J.R. Reed, my guy. Look at J.R. Reed. Look at him. Hi, I'm J.R. Reed. Hi. He looks so happy, J.R. Reed. J.R. Reed, Charlotte Hornet, San Antonio Spur. Yeah, J.R. Reed. Read the room and keep reading the comments, Lex. All right, let's see. Where was I? I was where you guys were answering. Charlie Ward is the last comment that I saw. Fiercely saying, at this point, I feel much more confident with Grady playing rather than Brown. Sorry, I'm harsh, but that's how I feel. No, I agree with this. I don't want Bruce Brown on this team next year. I really don't. He's weird. He's aloof. He's a little like, he's a mercenary. In some ways, him taking the money over staying in Denver told me all I need to know about his personality. In some ways, the Denver Nuggets fans were like, yeah, we like you, Bruce. You helped us win a championship. But why the fuck did you sell out and go take money instead of re-signing with us? In some ways, I got to question that about him, that he's a mercenary and it's about the money more than, being, loyal. Terry Rozier, no, that was J.R. Reed. Fiercely saying, and good job, Smooth. We're going to get you those points in the Raptor Freak trivia. I'm going to make sure I get you extra. You know what? I'm going to give you you know what? These are going to be worth more than 50. If you can card identify, classic cosmic card, I'm going to give you 100 points. So Smooth Brown Man's going to get 100 points added to his Raptor Freak trivia score for identifying J.R. Reed. Fiercely saying, I believed in Grady since day one. That suit was bold, spicy, and fiercey like me. Go Grady. Well, kudos to you guys. In some ways, can you understand why some of us thought he was a bust around like November or December? Can you understand why? Because we saw him in 905 playing absolute dog shit down there, not looking like he belonged on the G League level. So there's real reasons why we doubted Grady this year. Seriously, it's been a roller coaster year for him. Cool Cat saying, I encourage everyone look at Grady's Kansas games, his skills that he brought to the NBA, a complete player, a movement shooter all his life. His mom and lethal shooter trained him. Goal is the NBA legacy. And when I watched those highlights, it looked like it was against lesser competition. And then it wouldn't translate to the size and speed of the NBA. And that's why I scouted him wrong, is because I looked at him and I said, this guy's too slow. This guy's not strong enough. He's going to get ate up. In some ways, he was deceivingly taller than I thought. I didn't realize he has a full 6'8". So that helped him in the long run. But before, when I was watching his Kansas highlights, he did not impress me, Cool Cat. In fact, I saw little tells that told me, well, that little move that he does in Kansas, that won't work in the NBA because the competition's bigger, badder, and stronger and faster. He could do that in Kansas, but I was like, some of this stuff is just not going to translate. Well, some of it is. And it's weird because it's like, once again, I'll say that some of these players play at their own speed, like SGA does. He kind of just does it on his own pace, and he doesn't hurry. Well, in some ways, Grady is like that too. And I was like, well, how is he doing that in the NBA? Well, it's the same way like somebody like Larry Bird would or SGA would. Just plays at his own speed, and he makes it happen. So in some ways, the translation of him not being a super fast player doesn't matter because he plays at his own speed, and he's able to do that. It's very interesting. Seymour saying J.R. Reed was okay. He didn't live up to the hype. This is true. This is exactly true, Seymour. He was like the first pick, I believe. He was like one of the top picks. Let me see. My eyesight's really not as good as it used to be. It should tell me when he was drafted. North Carolina. Yeah, he was a big prospect out of North Carolina. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what happened with him. You never hear about him at all, do you? No, there's a lot of NBA vets and people that have moved on after, and you just don't hear about them. They don't get brought up or nothing. It's crazy. Yeah, Stargate saying J.R. Reed from UNC. That's right. That's J.R. Reed from UNC. Let's see. Seymour saying Grandmama was a Hornets' best power forward. Yeah, I think right around that time too. Larry Johnson. Yep. Chris is saying, I said yesterday that Jokic is an elephant of a player, unstoppable. Kelly, tried, and so did Jonte. But the Murray-Jokic two-man game is too much for any team. Even the Celtics had no chance last week. Yeah, I thought that we did an exemplary job considering our personnel and our experience level of containing them. I think that we did a fantastic job on them. In fact, we may have done a better job than some of these veteran teams that have been together. And I think it is partly because Darko's experience knowing Jokic, Jonte's experience knowing Jokic, Kelly's experience knowing Jokic, and just being smart and how to play him and being disciplined about it. Some ways it's not a normal guard on him. It very much is like, let this guy go left, let this go right kind of stuff. Well, you do the scout on him right, then you know you got to keep your hands up on him, keep him as far away from the basket as possible, and stay in between him and the basket. Those are a couple of the things. If you don't even let him get the ball, hey, that's great. You can do that. Yeah, you don't want to double him necessarily because he's such a good passer. He's going to find that open guy that you left if you really do leave somebody else. So in some ways, it's better to play him straight up and just irritate his shot. And that's kind of what Kelly and them were doing. When he take little shots in the lane, like 10 footers, they just got their hand up and agitated. And often he would rim out and not make the shot early in the game, especially in the first half. That was very effective. You just agitate his shot. Let him take it. I almost rather him shoot the shot himself and agitate it than him passing it off for an easier shot for somebody else on his team. So they had a really good plan for him. Darko set it up and they executed it very well. We saw good results from it. We really did. Fizzy's saying, man, next year it's going to be tough to pick our favorite Raptor for the fantasy league. They all rock, except for Bruce. Well, he may not be on the team. And, you draft who you can get in the fantasy league. It's just going to be fun next year. I'm excited about next season. And I will make the best of the rest of this season on its way out. Superfan Mo saying, hey, Lex, glad you get the Eric Curry shenanigans more and more now. Shaking my head. I honestly, Mo, I understand your derision of the 905, but I don't think it's worth it. In some ways, the way you're treating the G League team this year is like the negative fans treating Darko and our team. It's not necessary. We want to encourage growth and positivity with them. I know I've been very critical of Eric Curry, but you know what? I really hoped that they had won last night. I was very disappointed they didn't. They had a very good chance to win, but they didn't do it. In some ways, I've been disappointed in Eric Curry because I feel like he is not a good coach, but he has shown some progress. And in general, I just want the Raptors to win. And I feel like sometimes you're just so mad at Eric that it gets in the way of you wanting the 905 to win. I'd like them to win games. And in some ways, I don't cheer when they fail like they did last night. I don't say, yeah, I told you so, Lex. Why do you believe in them? Because I'm a Raptors fan. And I love the Raptors even if they're the 905. And I'll do their game right now here. The stars of the game for the Raptors game, 905 game against the Osceola Magic. It was an interesting game. A lot of their players were out. Mac McClung did not play. Kevon Harris did not play. And we didn't have a lot of guys either. We were very short-staffed. In fact, we had a replacement player show up for the first time for the 905 last night. This guy, Delaire, I'd never heard of him before. He came in and played 8 minutes and got 5 points. I didn't even hear us getting picked up for him. He's just like a replacement G League player because nobody's able to play. If we didn't get him, we didn't have enough players to play in this game. We had only 7 players available for the 905 until we got this Delaire guy. So we had the minimum of 8. So that in itself tells you we're going into this game already undermatched. The Osceola Magic are a top 3 G League team in the Eastern Conference right now. And they very much should beat us. But you know what? We kicked their ass for most of the game. It's funny. The Osceola Magic fans were in the chat with us, talking trash a little bit, and they were losing. We kicked their butt for a lot of the game. I was really proud of the Raptors 905 for holding the game on our side for most of the game, but they did overcome and take us with a 38-point fourth quarter and take the victory by 4 by the end of the game, which was really annoying. In some ways, the development curve of Eric Curry that I was talking about in the last game, where they learned how to win close games, was not evident in this one. But also at the same time, I got to say, they had 8 players, including one that just showed up today. And honestly, all their best players were out. It's not like the players that were available are the best ones because Mo G is out. Justice Winslow did not play. A lot of the main guys like JFL's up with the Raptors now. Jonte Porter's with the Raptors now. DJ Carton's hurt. Jamias Ramsey was with the Raptors. So they really didn't have anybody. I mean, they had McCurr, Drake Jeffries, Amari Moore, Kevin O'Banner, Kobe Simmons, Miles Burns, and Daryl Morsell. They have like really, really shitty team. And on the other side, they had last year's G League scoring champion, Trevlin Queen. and Jet Howard, DJ Wilson, former Raptor, destroying us last night. In fact, he's a big reason why we lost. In the last few minutes, DJ Wilson went crazy on revenge against the Raptors. Obviously, DJ Wilson's mad at us, and he got a revenge game against us on the Osceola Magic last night. So they had a little bit better star power and better G League players than us. And they ended up beating us in the end. But we were winning most of the game, and we had done a really good job. My 3 stars of the game, first star is McCurr. He actually had a double-double, 22 points with 13 rebounds, 7 and 12 from the field, 2 of 4 from 3. He made all 3 of his free throws, 4 offensive rebounds, 3 assists, 2 blocks, even, not a plus or minus, 22 points in 38 minutes. McCurr is waking up in the last couple games all of a sudden. Maybe it's because Moji's hurt. He hasn't been playing. He's getting a lot of minutes. He's starting, and he's actually being very productive. This is the way I had hoped Maker would play all season. And he's finally showing up at the end of the season. So maybe he's playing for the next year to make sure he's still got a spot somewhere in the NBA or G League. The second star of the game for me in the 905 was Kobe Simmons. Kobe Simmons has been scorching hot since the All-Star break. 36 points last night. In fact, that's his career high. 11 of 23 from the field, 8 of 14 from 3. Perfect at the field, 3 for 3. 9 rebounds, 7 assists, 2 steals, 1 block, 3 turnovers. Kobe Simmons has been on fire and carrying the Raptors right now with the scoring load. And 36 points of their 116 points last night. Then my final star of the loss for the 905 versus Osceola Magic is Daryl Morsell. Off the bench, he played 31 minutes, 21 points on 9 of 18 shooting, 1 of 5 from 3, 2 of 3 from free throw, 1 rebound, 1 assist, 2 steals, a +1. Daryl Morsell, and Daryl Morsell, Kobe Simmons, McCurr, the bright spots. Omari Moore had a tough game. In some ways, he was trying really hard, but he's not getting anywhere. 3 of 14 from the field, missed all 4 of his threes, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 steals, 3 turnovers, a -23 with 10 points. Omari Moore had to play a little more cleaner. In some ways, he wasn't so good. Kevin O'Banner was out there fighting, getting it mixed up, down low, trying to do defensive and rebounding stuff. 10 rebounds, 7 points. Just not enough production from Kevin. 3 of 8 from the field. And Drake Jeffries, man, this guy shoots threes. He's supposed to be a really good three-point shooter, but sometimes he shoots so badly. He was 5 of 15 last night, 3 of 12. Absolutely necessary, but we needed him to make more. 13 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 steals, 1 block. He had one of his better games, but he did not shoot well still. And then, as I said, Miles Burns and Delaire were the other 2 guys off the bench. Really nobody to play for Eric Curry. They ran out of gas. Osceola Magic overtakes them by the end of the game, even without Mac McClung or Kevon Harris or Admiral Schofield, any of those guys. So, tough loss. By the 905, they had it. They could have won it. They managed the game a little bit better. At the end of the game, they would have won it. And there were parallels to the 905 game that were very similar to the game against the Nuggets with the regular Raptors last night. So, it's tough. I'm ready for Eric Curry to move on, for sure, Monique. I am ready for him to move on. And who knows? Hopefully we have a very good coach next year. I do really feel like there is a weird connection between the 905 and what happens with them and the Raptors, because these games last night were very similar, and they're weird because they're in 2 different places. Very, very weird. Very weird. Cool Cat saying, thanks for reminding me of the 905 game. I needed to react to it. They're going to play them again tomorrow. Osceola Magic rematch with the 905 tomorrow, and as we play the Pistons. So doubleheader again tomorrow. 905 Osceola Magic, second game, and the Raptors at Detroit Pistons tomorrow. Yeah. Cool Cat saying, Pascal always says any team can win any night. NBA players are good. You just have to fight to win. Can't take anything for granted. Yeah. It's interesting. Some of the Nuggets were saying after the game, it's not necessarily being the most talented team in this league anymore. It's about having pieces that fit together and fit well together and run well together. Like, it really is about crafting the personnel and how they fit as puzzle pieces on the court. In some ways, we've seen from the last 2 years with the Raptors, we had a puzzle that didn't totally fit exactly right with positionless basketball. So in some ways, I like the more well-crafted ideas that they're doing with how they're building the roster since all the trades. It feels like there's a natural fit better with our personnel, and there's not people butting into others, kind of bread and butter what they like to do. So I think this is true. And that some people are saying, it's not about having the most talented team at this point. It's about having the team that has a concept and the unit that just really fits together. That just really, really makes sense. A GM like Masai Ujiri and Bobby Webster's can be like a master craftsman. If you're like building with wood and you want to make some sort of puzzle box, I've seen this guy on YouTube that makes puzzle boxes out of wood and he crafts them and he has like secret places where you can push a button and it'll open up. And then all of a sudden, it's like you got to figure it out. Well, he has to be very crafting and fitting it all together and make it flush on the sides and no things sticking out. In some ways, you got to build your team like that. You got to make it so it all fits and really crafted together, fits seamlessly, like perfectly. And in some ways, that's how you have to build your NBA teams now. The players all have to seamlessly work within a system that makes sense with the roles, and then all the puzzle pieces have to work. You could collect talented teams like Phoenix, and was Brooklyn before with Kevin Durant and the big two beside him, Harden and Kyrie before, and now Bradley and Devin Booker. But if you don't have an overall scheme of things with the full complement of who you're going to play in your rotation, well, you're not going to win and be that good in the playoffs. I would say that about the Phoenix Suns. You got a bunch of junk. You got three really good players at the top and a bunch of junk. Otherwise, you're not going to win in the playoffs. You need a very good team system, and a lot of puzzle pieces are all working together, at least 10 deep, to win the NBA championship at this point. That's why I believe in a team like the New Orleans Pelicans much more than I believe in a team like the Phoenix Suns for their postseason dreams. Yeah, it's the puzzle piece has to fit. That's the most important thing now. It's not even about talent anymore. It's get the team that fits together and works together as a whole crew. Chris is saying, personally, I like the personality of this team much more than last year. Oh yeah, in some ways, it's the coach showing through the whole product. In some ways, the weirdness and the awkwardness and the kind of like secretiveness of last year was really an extension of the aura around Nick Nurse and his fuckery. In some ways, you can see the joy in the game, the passing, the sharing. That is an extension of the aura of Darko. And his personality, how exuberant he gets. You've seen how he's been in the locker room after games where we win. He's like, yeah, and he's running around and stuff like that. That all is a part of it right there. That makes the whole feel of it happy and swaggish and kind of like having Riz and having all these good feelings and happy smiles going on around it. In some ways, it was hard to have a smile on the Raptors last year, even though we won more last year. It's like, think about that. This year, we've smiled more on the bench and as fans than we did last year. Everything was kind of confusing and everybody looked depressed and sad. We won 41 games last year. This year, we may not win. We may win close to half of that. We've got more than half already. But I'm just saying, we may have way less wins than last year. And we may be happier as a team, happier as a fan nation, even. That's really weird. In some ways, you see how critical everybody was about last year. Well, look how bad it is this year, you motherfuckers. And I told y'all it could get worse. Everybody's being overly critical of how things went last year. I mean, in some ways we needed to be because our coach was submarining us on the down low. But yeah, it's the extension of the aura of the coach that we're feeling around the presence of the team right now. Yeah. Yeah. Wayne's saying the fact that Jamal is not NBA All-Star is an outrage. The Nuggets are disrespected even more than the Raptors. They're champions. That's what I'm saying. I said this at the beginning of the year. I said, Nuggets fan, I'm your friend, bro. I celebrate and respect y'all's championships so much. And if y'all get a second one, I'll be so happy. I feel like this league needs y'all to win more because they need to realize how they orient the product placement of advertising for this to not just dote on the Celtics and the Lakers so much. The Nuggets are the champions. In some ways, they've been disrespected and have not got their due shine in some ways by the league because they're so full of shit in how they cover the league and who they dote on and who they don't. I don't know if they're more disrespected than us, but they're definitely in the same category as us when they won their championship as when we did. Because the same thing happened in our year. In fact, we got overlooked more than they did. They're getting a little bit more shine and talked about Denver Nuggets champions than we did in our champion year. They really, once Kawhi left, they're like, we don't have to give them the shine because the guy who was the MVP for them is not there anymore. And people didn't really let us have our year of being champions correctly in this league. And it's kind of bullshit. That's why I'll fight every time a small market wins, whether it's Milwaukee just before or the Nuggets right now, to give them their proper shine. Because honestly, I felt like we were robbed in our year of champion in 2019 afterwards of getting the right luster and respect around the league. Because guys win championships, well, they get it crammed down our throats for the rest of the year, the next year, that they're the champions. Nobody liked talking about the Raptors being the NBA champions the year after we won. Nobody. They wouldn't hardly, they avoid it and ignore it as much as possible. You hardly ever heard the NBA media people say that as much as possible. And it is what it is. That's why I get in a band of brothers with Nuggets Nation, because it is a similar thing. Yeah. Cool Cat saying Masai and Bobby marketing at work. African, Canadian, European, Midwestern markets are ours to take. Yeah, I know we're there first. We're there first in a lot of ways. We know more about those areas. This is Masai's bread and butter and knows what he does. He's a global scout, and he's one of the best scouts to ever work around the NBA as our vice president of our team. Masai Ujiri is a master scout. And of course, he's got eyes and ears in all those places if they aren't his own sometimes. Fiercely saying, yes, Chris, same here. I like the new look and also the vibes. Interesting how you can play freely and have fun when there are no clouds lurking and constant trade rumors. That is a big part of it. A lot of things hanging around. The other shoe to drop. Nick Nurse ambiguous with his bullshit. OG with his things with his management and him probably wanting to go to New York for a while on the down low, even though he's a Raptor for a while. All the trade rumors around OG in some ways were parts of this. Same stuff with Siakam. That stuff goes away. It's easier. And things are like more on the up and up. People have more trust. They kind of understand what's going on, and they're not worried about getting traded all of a sudden, like Thad, Dennis, and Otto, and all them did around that time. Well, it all got done, and the guys who were here were here, and the guys who are gone are gone, and that made it a lot easier to play. David's saying, "Oh my God, last year was a disaster. We did better last year. We had a better record at this point last year, but does it feel like we did better last year? Do you feel like, in some ways, the development and the future of what we were looking forward to at this point is in some ways better than last year? Because last year was just so freaking confusing, and Nick really screwed a lot of things up. If people are upset and angsty in Raptors Nation, they should be blaming Nick Nurse. They really should. I don't understand why people don't understand this more, that he really, really was like a spy from the other side that fucked our team up from the inside for a whole year. We've gone through a displacement in Tampa for a season recently. We've gone through the dismantling of our championship team, whether it was by our choice or not. And now we've gone through a coach that sabotaged our team for a season on the down low. And we're still standing, Elton John. That's right. And we're going to keep going forward. And we got good things coming up. That's right. That's right. Cool Cat saying Masai Bobby has tested many shooters from Midwest. Grady has been our best so far from the Midwest. All right. I like that. Chris is saying, yep. And I really like the team's willingness to move the ball, take the right shots, smarter team, less hero ball. Fiercely, I like the attitude better. As you say, playing fast and free. Yeah. Yeah. It's just more for all for one for all. You can see how the isolation and the really doting on Gary and Pascal and Fred last year was not good for team ball. In some ways, it made things really not helpful for other guys to develop. In some ways, Nick really going so isolation was a tool for him to stymie the development of Delano Banton and Christian Coloco and some of the other young players that were on our team at that time. That's the thing that pissed me off. Sure, you got a big paycheck for Fred. Sure, you got the value of Gary up last year, but it went down this year. Sure, you did all kinds of things to make starters look good, but the rest of everything dried up. And in some ways, you were starving everybody. And I think that was on purpose. I think that in some ways, Nick knew overrunning his starters all along wouldn't be totally a formula for winning in that year. And it would also byproduct not allow the younger players on our team that Masai asked him to develop to not happen. He openly defied Masai Ujiri when he did not develop our guys correctly that year, Delano Banton and Christian Coloco, and that is why he got fired. People want to wonder why Nick Nurse got fired. It's because he rejected a direct command from his boss, who told him, you're supposed to be developing the young guys, and you did not do that. You were trying to win,
and to the detriment of our team in the future for your own selfish shit and for some of the players' selfish shit too. So it is what it is. Nick Nurse is the fall guy. And if everybody's wondering why we are in the way we are, it's not Darko's fault. It's Nick's fault because he fucked up his Popovich status with the Raptors and we had to start over. So everybody who gets mad at everything that's happened this year, you can blame Nurse if you really want to blame somebody. Seriously. Seriously. All right, let's see. Let's see what else you guys are saying. Fiercely saying, Lex, early in the season, I shared in the Raptor Freak chat a clip of McDaniels, how he could be impactful. Rough year for him, but yesterday I saw glimpses of what he did in Charlotte, why the front office picked him. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he's super talented. I honestly, he has a very good shot. He has a mid range, he has close to the basket, and he has three. So I would like to discover more with him. I don't totally think he's got a fair shot. He's also very young still. And like I said, his brother in Minnesota is a really good kind of like comparison person to see where this guy could be like him more. Jaden McDaniels in Minnesota is a starter and he's done amazing things for the Timberwolves. There's no reason to not think that Jalen McDaniels can be developed by Darko further and look more like his brother in the years to come. So that's why I think there's merit in hanging on to him and keeping him around, even though he didn't play a whole lot this year. So we'll see. He could have a really good offseason, make some leaps and bounds. Scotty Barnes kind of leaps and bounds. And all of a sudden, he's a regular rotation next year. We'll have to see how it all works out. We'll have to see how free agency, how trades, and everything we do to shape our roster goes if McDaniels is part of next year. We'll have to see. David's saying Abaji is an absolute beast, man. A must keep for sure. I'm coming around on him. It's kind of like since these guys showed up, Bruce Brown's kind of stock's gone down, and Abaji's has been going up in the last couple of weeks. And it's not even because of his shooting or scoring. It's his defense. It's his physicality. It's his get after it. I see him busting his ass. And I'm like, yeah, we could have him on the Raptors. Oh, yeah, we could have him on the Raptors. Cool Cat saying Nick Nurse's coaching style on Sixers is so familiar to how he coached the Raptors. He can only be himself. Cool Cat. Darko coaching FIBA style for Raptors. Coach Casey played hard with force. Very interesting styles. Yeah, there's all different, personalities and coaches. I really do pay attention to this kind of stuff around the league, and especially with our history of different coaches we've had throughout the history of the Raptors. There were really bad coaches in the 90s, some really bad coaches in the 2000s, and a lot of good coaches in the 2010s. And presently, I say the three best coaches the Raptors ever had in their history are Dwayne Casey, Darko Rajakovic, and Nick Nurse. Those are the three best coaches we've ever had in our whole history. I'm telling you, Darko is one of the three best coaches we've ever had. And I want to continue to see and tell y'all why he's one of the best. That's right. Let's see. Smooth saying DK has coached 4 versions of the Raps in 1 year. It takes time. Yeah. That's one of the things I was saying that people could tell Darko haters is like, look, he's had a turnover and a consistency through the turnover that is really actually amazing. He's been consistently the same guy with totally different players switching in and out. He has a totally different roster than he did in training camp at the beginning of this year. And if anything, we could say he's been consistent with his approach and his demeanor with his team. In some ways, it's been difficult. He could have gotten emotional around when Drake passed away. He could have been like in bad places when, Dennis got traded or other things happened. But no, he's been consistently the same guy, and the players enjoy and really appreciate a coach that's not all over the place with his emotions. It could be that, if your coach is like pissed off about games or you get in the doghouse, Nick Nurse may be very daunting to approach and try and talk to if he's pissed off or you're on his bad side. I feel like Darko's approachable in every situation for the Raptors, whether they're playing well or not. He will shoot straight to them, and they'll be in the same demeanor. In some ways, he won't be belittling to them, but he'll be honest and fair. And that's what you want. You don't want a coach that's going to come out to the press after the game and say, yeah, Gary is not playing well enough. That's why he's not starting. He says, throws his team under the bus. That's what Nick did all the time. He throw people under the bus publicly. Now, Darko does it a little differently. He will give constructive criticism about his players in the press conference, but he's not shading them like Nick used to. Nick was really bad. He used it as a motivator to talk trash about his team in the press. and use that to motivate Chris Boucher. Nah, you're not going to see that from Darko. And that's good. He may say something like, well, Grady should have played better defense in some situations, but I'm overall very, very pleased with his output and how he's been playing recently. It's just a little critique for just a second, but there's other good things he adds too. That's a big difference between Darko and Nick. Not throwing players under the bus in interviews after the game. That's a big one and an interesting style by Nick. Yeah, Smooth. Oh yeah, Smooth. Already read that. Most saying, question for you, Lex. When you met Jordan Bolton, was he standing up? Because remember when they showed him on TSN, he was in a scooter or something. Well, Jordan is still paralyzed, and he still is working to get movement in his limbs. He's had very good progress in the last couple years. But yeah, no, he was in a wheelchair. He was sitting in your section that you used to sit in, Monique, up there at 113. I saw him when I was sitting with Adriana, and I went to see him at halftime. So yeah, he was in a chair. He was sitting with his mom. So yes, he is in a chair, like you. So no, he is not standing. When I saw him, he was in his chair. So let's see. Fiercely saying Darko in his first year head coaching, of course he will make mistakes. Even experienced coaches make them, but he's impactful, has a solid team of assistants, and will put us back on top. Yeah. Yeah, I agree with this. I could see all of this vision that you're talking about right here. I think you're exactly right. He's learning the lay of the land as a head coach. He's kind of getting the beats of the season from that perspective too. And if he does it over and over again, he's going to get better and better. So this may be the worst coaching season that Darko does. He gets more savvy and understanding. He gets a little more worldly to the world of coaching. That's what part of it is too. It's like, look, we could go hire a new coach. They're going to start over. And they're going to have to learn all the tough lessons all over again. That's what I'm saying. We're driving to Calgary or Victoria, British Columbia. Let's not turn around when we get to Winnipeg. Seriously. Let's not turn around when we get to Winnipeg. Let's keep driving with the people that's driving the car. Because you start over every single time you change the driver. You start over every single time. Let's go, Darko. That's right. Kilimanjaro's here. Good to see Kilimanjaro. Longtime Raptor Freak comes in, checks on us every once in a while. Win last night would have been nice, but that game last night was all plus. Porter needs more minutes. Grady is getting so much better. Boom goes the dynamite. Good to see you, Kilimanjaro. I'll agree with what you're saying. Jonte Porter looked real good, and Grady was fantastic too. It is what it is. In some ways, everything worked out perfect last night. We jumped up 2 percentage points to keep our pick. And I'll say that's the reason why a win is not necessarily a win for the Raptors right now. Yeah. Let's see. Trevor's saying a fresh mind is fountain for great thoughts. Keep the positive vibes flowing. Yeah. Yeah. I'm trying, man. I'm trying. I know there's a lot of negativity in this world in different ways. And in some ways, man, I just want to be a catalyst for like good, positive stuff. I'm not perfect, just like everybody, but we're trying and we're trying to do better every day. That's all we can do. Trevor, I love you, man. Thank you for the words of wisdom. Seymour saying, I was driving to work this morning, was about to fire up a J, seen SWAT team moving through my area, and I'm not smoking until after work. Crazy start to that day. Like 15 vehicles. Yeah, I don't know what the laws are out there. I mean, isn't it legalized in Alberta? Why would you get in trouble? Maybe for driving under the influence. Yeah, I could see that. I don't know. Either way, do what you got to do, Seymour. You got to do what you got to do as a city slicker out in the country. And yeah, just tell them you're a tourist from New York. I am a tourist from New York. I did not know that you can't do this if you get in any trouble. Just act like that. You got a New York Mets hat. You can say that. Most saying Darko will forever be good with his timeouts. I absolutely love it. I do too. Mo, he's the thing is, we see the momentum changes. And Nick in the past would be like, oh, let the team figure it out. Let them try and just kill the run that the Nuggets are starting to build. No, he's not even waiting. Like, that was a big problem with some of the shit that happened last year. And that's part of the reason why I thought Nick was on the down low trying to make us lose. Is because we could come out in the beginning of the game and they would give up a 20-point lead right away. And Nick wouldn't be unfazed. It's like he didn't even call any timeouts to try and stop it. It's like they already go up by like 2 or 3 or 5. That would be when maybe like Darko would call it immediately as soon as they take the lead. All right, timeout. They just took the lead. No, Nick would sit there and be like, they're going to work it out. All of a sudden, a 2-point lead has become a 20-point lead. And because Nick's just lackadaisical. And so I think that shit was on purpose when he was sabotaging our team last year. He wouldn't call timeouts timely because he wanted to let them flounder and maybe even get their in worse deficit. This seemed like this happened a lot last year. Do you think back and think about it in your head? Look at the way that Darko calls timeouts. Why didn't Nick do that to try and stop runs? No, he wanted the runs to go on and let the other team win because he's trying to confuse things so he could get the fuck out there and Rich Paul could get him a contract with Daryl Morey and the Sixers. So it was all very calculated, honestly. Some of the stuff he was doing last year was very, very, very seedy and on the down low. And not calling timeouts quickly was one of them. I love you, Mo, and you're exactly right. I love Darko's timeouts. They're awesome. They're a breath of fresh air from last year. David's saying that's intense, Seymour. Good idea holding off on the split. Just to be careful. I mean, I don't know. It's a conservative government out there. Maybe they're conservative about that kind of shit. Here in the city, you could get away with smoking some weed around here now. Back here at the Burr with Scarborough. That's right. Let's see. Seymour saying save the bag for Grady. Facts, David. Mountain Standard Time hits different. So he's just confirmed what I said. Kareem saying, okay, fuck it. Everybody take a shower. Trevor, get your bus. We're going to see Seymour. No turning back. See, he likes my idea saying we're going to drive from Toronto all the way to Calgary to see Seymour. Well, we're going to turn around in Kenora. Like, we're going to get all the way up to the top of Lake Superior, and we're going to say, oh, I don't like you driving, Lex. We're going to turn around. We're going to have somebody else drive. What? You going to fire me like Darko for the driving of the car? What? I'm a good driver. You can ask anybody who's ridden the car with me. You ask Adriana. Adriana will tell you how good a driver I am. I'm an excellent driver. Yes, I'm a very excellent driver. Yes, very excellent driver. Judge Wapner at 3. Yeah. I am a good driver. I'm a very good driver. If y'all let me drive, it would be fun. We would get some sort of Raptor Freak cross-country driving trip to go see Tom Duke, get a car and like the Saborin brothers and just fucking go over there. That'd be crazy. That'd be a crazy trip. Crazy trip. I'm sure it would be. Yeah, but we ain't stopping all of a sudden and saying we're going back to Toronto and changing drivers. No, we ain't doing that kind of shit. We ain't doing it with our coach either, Raptors Nation, just so you know that. That's right. No turning back. We're going. That's right. Most saying that Jordan Wara open gym moment had me smiling from ear to ear talking about the Raptors. Yeah, that was awesome. Like, I really love that he's a real one like these other guys. Like, he really is a lot like Kelly and RJ with his love for our team. It's awesome. Yeah, David's laughing. Fiercely saying Otto Porter Jr. retiring. Nice retirement memo. Wish him the best. Yeah, no hate. No hate on this. It is what it is. It is what it is. You guys want to make an embellishment? Say, oh, he stole money from the Raptors? You want to say this? He's Olajuwon? Okay, go ahead. Y'all can say that. I'm not going to get behind that. I'm just going to honor a former Raptor who really didn't do anything wrong. He just got hurt, and it didn't really work out. So what? It was a good idea when Bobby and Masai did it, and I stand by it still to this day. Somebody say, oh, that was a mistake. Well, we didn't know that at the time. We did it with good judgment and earnest, and it just didn't work out. You can't get mad about that. Cool Cat saying, yes, the Raptors play the fastest in the league. Pacers play the second fastest. Pacers have adjusted to focus more on defense and offense per the coach to develop young guys more. I like that. Cool Cat saying, I say Jonte's feelings come out when he helped Nuggets player off the floor. I was chuckling at his normal reaction. Yeah, he was coming over and helping people up, but so was Michael. Michael came over and helped a couple of our guys up. In some ways, look, the NBA is a family overall. Sure, the teams want to compete and they want to win, and they're in competition against each other. But once again, it's like everything. Scotty's got friends all over the league. All these guys have friends across the league. Some people are not going to be your friends. Some people are going to be like, I hate this guy. But some of the people you're going to really love because they're people from your past, former teammates that you were on the team with, like OG and Pascal. People like Cade Cunningham, Jalen Green, Day'Ron Sharp. It's just how it is. In some ways, it's a family, but you're competitive. You want to beat them. In some ways, the sibling rivalry between Jonte and Michael Jr. was very much in effect last night. So there's a balance. You can be a good sport, help people up. If your brother falls down in front of you just because he's wearing another jersey, doesn't mean you don't want to go over there and help your brother up. I don't know. Everything's different. I think it's funny. Some players are trying to help other people's help up. Like Dennis came over and tried to help Jalen Brunson up in a game recently, and Jalen Brunson refused his hand. He was kind of a jerk. I've seen this before where like other teams try and help the one team up and they're like, no, only my teammates. They're like that cutthroat. I can respect that. I honestly can, but I can also respect good sportsmanship and being a kind Samaritan and saying, here, I'm extending a hand to help you up. Well, you're not my teammate, so I'm not taking your hand. It's a weird thing. In some ways, it's a diss. In some ways, it's a rejection. In some ways, somebody like Dennis, like, well, okay, noted. I'm not going to be nice to you. You're an asshole, kind of thing. It's just kind of how it is. Carlos saying, I'm so loving how great he plays. This guy has it. When he grows into his body, it's going to be good. He gets stronger. Yeah, it's going to be amazing, Carlo. Good to see you. Let's see. What the hell are those people smoking? Those crisp passing last night is a Darko feature. And when it all clicks, it'll be so beautiful. I know. It's only going to get better. We didn't have Emmanuel and Scotty last night, and we had such beautiful passing and different things happening. That's pretty cool. Pretty cool. I mean, I could look at the box score a little bit with the team stats. Let me just look and see how we competed with the champion Nuggets last night. Now, in the first half, we were out shooting them pretty good. We were shooting like 55%, and they were shooting like 44%. And that was a big part of the margin in us beating them. Well, they evened it out. And by the end of the game, they shot way better than us. They shot 55% by the end of the game. We shot 51%. So in some ways, they shot way, way better. They had a 74-point half in the second half, and that was huge. 42 points in the third absolutely killed us. In some ways, they won the game back in the third when they outscored us 42-30. So it was tough. The three-pointers, we actually did make one more three than them. The free throws, they only got one more free throw than us, but we made more free throws than them. They were missing free throws. The Orlando team, the Osceola Magic, were missing free throws like crazy last night too. They would have beat us by way more, but they couldn't buy a damn free throw in the whole game pretty much in that G League game with the 905 last night. The rebounds, exactly even. But at halftime, we were out rebounding the Nuggets. We were out rebounding the Nuggets, but they were even at the end. 36 assists for them, 30 assists for us. That's not too bad. The turnovers, we ended up losing that. 13 turnovers to their 9. And the turnovers in the second half were key to them coming back. They forced more turnovers, and we weren't as good with the ball in the second half. And that was keying part of their comeback in the 20 points against us. Yeah, that was a big part there. Points in the paint, even 66-66. So in a lot of ways, we played toe-to-toe with the champions with half our team. With half our team, we played the very healthy champion Nuggets toe-to-toe. Statistically, we kept up with them pretty damn good. Pretty damn good. That's right. There you go. Blackhawks saying, woohoo, I just got a 2% raise. Apple juice for everyone. There you go. I like this. A 2% raise for the probability of us getting it, or you got a 2% raise in your job. I hope that's what it is. I'm going to give Blackhawk a 2-pointer because it's a 2% raise real quick. But I don't know if he's joking about our 2% raise on the probability of getting the pick, or he actually got a 2% raise at his job. Either way, congratulations. Apple juice for everybody. I got water right now. Let's see. Seymour saying, you can tell Dana is a Stone Cold Steve Austin fan. A whole lot of two-finger waving. Salute. Yeah. Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. Wow. Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. Yeah, he's awesome, Stone Cold. Let's see. Blackhawk saying thank you to Seymour. Salute to Blackhawk getting the raise. Carlos saying no timeouts would have helped last night. Murray was on a tear. Hurrah, Blackhawk. Yeah. No timeouts? I don't know. Jamal Murray woke up and they got him going. And that's just how it is. Blackhawk saying timeouts should not be called too early. When we're in the first quarter and down one possession, let the team fight it out. That is an example of not being effective with timeout. I disagree with you. In fact, I made the argument against this just a little while ago. The difference between why that's bad and why it's good that he does what he does. Listen, it doesn't matter when he takes the timeout. He takes the timeout when the momentum is shifting. He takes the timeout when the team is not doing something properly and he wants to adjust it or correct it. That's perfectly fine. He could call a timeout 30 seconds into the game, and that would be fine. I don't care when he takes a timeout. If the team is in disorder and needs a timeout, take it. In fact, my argument would be what you're saying is going to get us in trouble. And is exactly what Nick did last year and put us in huge holes in the first quarter in a lot of games last year. He let them try and figure it out. I get that philosophy. Maybe it works with an older team that's vet that Nick likes to coach. Like say it'll work with our championship team, Kyle, Kawhi, Serge, and Mark, because they have the experience to figure it out on their own on the court. But if our team is young, like it is presently, you can't do that, Blackhawk. These guys aren't smart enough to figure it out because they don't have the experience to figure it out, like Lowry and Leonard and Ibaka and all those guys from our past. So you got to look at your personnel. You got to look at their acumen and experience before you determine, oh, we're going to let them just figure it out. We're not going to call a timeout. No, you need to call a timeout with your young players and teach them. And that's something that our broadcast team said last night. The difference between Darko and a lot of coaches is he's teaching during the game. We saw a whole part where he took Grady to the side and he's like teaching him something about positioning with Jokic and how to play him better. And like in the middle of the game, he just made a substitution. Grady's coming out and he stopped and he's like showing him something. He did the same thing with Javon Freeman Liberty at one point. And this is something Matt Devlin and Alvin Williams made light of in the game last night. Alvin said there's not many coaches that are actually teaching during the game. They just focus on coaching the game. So in some ways, this is another reason why Darko is such an amazing coach is he can actually teach during the game. And most coaches are just coaching during the game. This dude is actually teaching these young players during the game. So the timeouts, when they happen, when he's calling them, are absolutely necessary when he's doing them at that time, whether it's early in the game or whatever, because he needs to teach it. Now, I would say this philosophy. What do you save these timeouts for? Well, who's to say, well, you need these timeouts in the later times? There's no guarantee on that. In some ways, if the game's going a bad way, you want to cut off at this at right when it's happening. You don't want to delay doing the timeouts because you're worried about using them out over the whole time of the game. No. Blackhawk, you use your timeouts as you need, and if you run out of them by then, well, this game's fucked because you tried and worked with your team every single timeout you called them, and you don't have any timeouts for the last 5 minutes. Well, first of all, he wouldn't manage it that badly. He would keep a timeout just to have for the last 5 minutes. In some ways, the managing of the timeouts has been smart. So what if he ate up 3 of the timeouts in the first half really quickly because he's getting his team set up and getting them right in the first place? They won't get to the later parts if they don't get set up and right in the first place. So the philosophies of timeouts are way better with Darko than the way Nick used to do it. Nick likes to coach veteran teams. He can do that kind of shit with teams that know what they're doing. We're not in that place anymore. So Darko's got to do the learning lessons right away. Call that timeout right away. And it's not too early. It's not too early. Monique's saying, love Jalen McDaniels in the paint last night. Yeah, he was finding shots. So his shot is interesting. He made some shots. He wasn't getting any respect with physicality. He was getting fouled, and he should have been going to the line. He got hit in the mouth at one point. Did you see him holding his mouth right when he got in? He got hit in the mouth right away. And some of his shots he made were absolutely and ones, but they didn't give him any respect on. That was annoying to me. Carlos saying, I disagree, Blackhawk. This team's MO at the moment is when it gets punched early, they tend to give up double-digit leads, so you need to catch that early. Carlo singing the same song as I am. Exactly. That's exactly what I was just saying. Seymour saying, refs took RJ and ones away and gave Murray like 3 in a row. Make it make sense. Well, it's a ref manipulation. I totally did not get why RJ did not get continuation on that one shot he made over Jokic. That didn't make any sense. Now, Tyler Ford's going to say, well, the contact was in him dribbling up, and it actually happened way before he brought the shot up. That the whistle came before the shot because the contact happened before. Now, the continuation is not consistent because in some ways we could see plays with Jamal Murray that were the same in the same kind of way, and you let him have and ones in continuation. Yeah, that was fishy. That was one place where I didn't see things were fair. They're not doing things with RJ fairly at all since he became a Raptor. And he knows it. And he's trying to do his best. They're not giving him any calls. It's messed up. Blackhawks saying the timeouts are more indicative of the coach's responsiveness. It's like the 3 little bears. Timeout called too early, just in time, or too late. Too early can stamp in momentum. Okay, I see what you're saying. It's like Goldilocks. This is too hot. This is too cold. This is just right. So you're trying to say that Nick was too late, and you're saying Darko's too early. I don't agree with this. I think that with a young team, you can't do it too early. In fact, they need to do instruction right away because one thing that could happen is they could, if you leave them out there playing over and over again, they can make the same mistake over and over again and reinforce bad habits. So it's really smart for a coach of a young team to take young players and correct them immediately so that they don't get in a groove of continuing that kind of bad habit further. So, I mean, that's the argument I would say in this. I don't think it's too early. Honestly, he could call a timeout after the first possession. I would get mad at him. If he called the timeout within the first 30 seconds of the game because he didn't feel like we started right, I would trust him on that. I don't think you can call it out too early. If you use a lot of timeouts early and you don't have as many later, well, you got to measure how you use them later. But if the lessons that need to be taught, they need to be taught right then. And if you run out of timeouts because you're calling too many because you have to keep teaching them, well, maybe you should make subs and put other guys in because those guys aren't listening to you or getting it done effectively. I don't know. I don't know. In some ways, I don't care about this. There's a lot of games where teams don't use their timeouts at all. In some ways, if he's more effective in getting his timeouts used over the course of the game, hey, that's good. You got to use them, right? Or you don't. People don't use them. You don't use them. Well, you use them when you want to use them. You use them. So, Chris is saying, so I should send my spy cameras back to Amazon. I had plans to sell it all to the Knicks. I miss OG. Big money comes first. Just joking. I don't even know what this means. You're writing this off of something I said earlier. So you're saying I should send my spy cameras back to Amazon? What are you talking about? What were we talking about spy cameras? I'm trying to remember what the subject was. This may have been just one little joke I did way back, and I can't even remember at this point. You had plans to sell it all to the Knicks. Are you making Azatam reference? I don't want to talk about Azatam. We still don't know what's happening with that lawsuit. Yeah, I miss OG too. I mean, it is what it is. Let's see. Fiercely saying, it's true, Lex. Jamal should have been an all-star a long time ago, but SGA is Canadian and gets the opportunity. Both are top teams, so I'm guessing it has to do with marketing. Yeah, I don't know. In some ways, it may be that SGA's numbers are just so good that they can't ignore him. I could see SGA not totally getting all the accolades he should be getting, partly because he's Canadian, even with where he is right now. Yeah, I don't know what it is. In some ways, they don't like Jamal Murray and they don't want to give him all stars. Well, he's going to get them at some point. In some ways, he should have been all star this year because he's a current champion. Yeah, I don't know. The NBA is so fucked. You know, you put Anthony Davis in the fucking all star team when his team's so shitty and LeBron's already in there. The Lakers did not deserve 2 all stars. You could have given that all star spot that Davis got to either one of the Kings or Jamal Murray. It would have been better spent. Seriously. Seriously. There's a couple of guys we maybe could have switched off of the Western All Stars and put De'Aaron Fox or Sabonis in there instead, or Jamal Murray. Those guys should have been on there. Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. Seymour saying, Coach must be so happy to have Grady. His ceiling is higher than Baines. Yeah, that's probably true. That's probably true. Man, we're at 3 hours. This has been a Lexathon. Let's see. Has Jamal ever been in any all NBA teams? No, I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think so at all. I mean, I could look this up. Let me see. I'll go to Basketball Reference and I'll put Jamal Murray in, and let's see what his accolades are that they list. He's a champion and an all rookie team. That's it. He made the all rookie team and he's an NBA champion. Those are all the accolades he's gotten from the NBA his whole entire career. He's a champion of last year and he was on the all rookie team. That is it. That is it. That is it. Now, I don't know if Grady's ceiling's higher than Bane. I'm going to revisit that. That may not be totally true. We'll see. I hope it is, though. Jill's here. Good morning, Jill. Let's see. Monique saying, hit the like and subscribe to the best RFF channel there is. Keep up the great streams, Lex. Go Raptors for life. You too, Monique. And next week's going to be so much fun at the Coaches Open House. We're going to have a fun time, and we're going to hang out afterwards at Real Sports. So not just plan for that. Plan for lunch with everybody and hanging out afterwards, too. Country Kong saying, Lex, last night's game was awesome. The transition 3 and the step back 3 from Grady had me screaming. 7 assists. He played point guard in high school, and some of the passes he made were outrageous. So exciting. I'm glad to see the enthusiasm from Country Kong this morning and Grady, what he did. I had it too. That pinpoint accuracy with some of his passes was really fruitful looking, JP. And yeah, the future's looking real bright. Where are my shades? Where are my shades? Oh, yeah, $10-3. The future's so bright. I gotta wear shades because Grady's gonna be so bright. I gotta put these shades on. That's right. Raptor red shades. All right, I gotta take them off. I don't want to wear them while I'm doing this. I can't read. Let's see. Seymour saying, what up, pickleball champ, Jillian? Hey, Seymour, good. You? Okay. All right, just cooling on the forklift and not high on ganja because he couldn't. He's gonna wait till after work. Let's see. All right, Jill saying I knew someone who did forklift once. He made a lot of money. All right, y'all's crosstalk. Jill, you make me laugh so hard. Unfortunately, life is about making a lot of money. There you go. Yes, true. All right. Stargate saying agree with Lex. Come on, Raptor fans, show some basketball acumen in your and show respect the other team they were playing. Exactly. Denver is the reigning champs and arguably the best team in the NBA right now. We get so egotistical. It's all about the Raptors. It's all about us. It's all about us. Sometimes it isn't about us. Sometimes the other team is much more excellent and it should be about them. And it's not even about us. It'll be about us at some point. Trust me, Scotty will make it about us. But right now is not the time. Scotty's not playing. So it's about them. Let's say it's about them. How about that? Jill saying, respectfully, Lex, please allow people their natural upset and concern after loss. No, I won't. Fuck that, Jill. Respectfully, no, I won't. Fuck that shit, Jill. The morning afterward, people usually do come around in their own time. Thanks, man. Cheers. No, and I actually alluded to this, Jill. I use you as an example. You're a newer fan. You started watching, as you said recently, during the pandemic. You weren't even watching during the championship. In some ways, you do not have a basis of reality to judge how you should feel about these games, at least not an educated one. And it's not a diss. I'm just saying there's a lot of fans like you that are Johnny come latelys that don't understand the history of the NBA, that don't understand the ups and downs of franchises. And what I'm trying to do is educate them to stop overreacting and getting all emotional about a loss to the champions of the NBA. And when we're we have half our team and we're in a development stage, and in some ways, us losing is in our best interest. So no, respectfully, Jill, I will not allow people to act stupid when it's not necessary. In some ways, I'll tell them you're being a dumbass and just get over yourself. As Stargate just said, it's not about us. It's about the Nuggets being the champs, and they're a very good team, and their excellence outshining us in the second half. It's not about us. We can get so egocentric. Oh, the Raptors this, the Raptors that. No, it's about a team that's better than us that beat us. And listen, y'all want to do your feelings and shit, go ahead. Do it on your own, because there's all these people that are out of pocket unleashing their feelings in comment sections all over social media. Just shut the fuck up, you whiny babies. You wanted to rebuild. You wanted to change this team. Well, you get what you get. And if you don't like it, just shut the fuck up. I don't need to hear you complaining. I don't need to hear you attacking Darko. I don't need you to hear you saying the Raptors suck. They're horrible. Yeah, we know this. Einstein, you don't need to fucking tell us that. And we don't need to hear anybody saying, oh, the Raptors are a failure because they lost a 20-point lead to the reigning NBA champions. Because it's an uneducated point that is like absolutely stupid. And the person that says it sounds like a dumbass. So all due respect, Jill. Yeah, freedom. Have your freedom to be all upset and messed up about it. But don't fucking put it all over social media and make other people feel it too. Just shut the fuck up and deal with it on your own, is what I'd say to people. That's what I would say. Stargate saying, yes, Lex. I remember you saying like a few weeks before the draft that you didn't think the Raptors should pick Grady even before the draft. Yeah, I did say that. And that's what I'm saying. I'll admit when I'm wrong. And I was definitely wrong on this. Jill saying, Raps did a great job, so can't wait till the next winnable game scheduled tomorrow. I hope they win tomorrow, but if they don't, I'm not going to be upset. If people get upset tomorrow about it, I'll say the same damn thing I said today. And people will say, well, wait, we're going from the champions to one of the worst teams in the league, Lex. Why aren't you upset about this? Well, what do you think our season is supposed to be doing right now? Hello. We're checking that probability of keeping our top pick from San Antonio. That's what this gear is all about at this point. We're moving towards that. It's winning. It's winning. It's like Masai said after Tampa. Tampa's season was not a losing season. We won because we got Scotty. So y'all losing right now is going to be winning when we draft somebody good this draft in the top 7 picks. So, I mean, come on. Let's keep on the same page with what our mode we're in right now. Scotty breaks his hand. Boom. We're back in tank mode to try and keep our pick. Scotty doesn't break his hand. We're going for the play-in. So, come on. Let's stay on top of where we're going and what mode we're in as a franchise and what we're trying to do and get on the same page. That's right. That's right. Jill's got the 12 o'clock, and it is almost 1 now. Must check out the weekly Toastmasters now. I'll be back. All right, Jill, check out your Toastmasters. Yeah. When I mastered making toast, I bought a good toaster to do it. It really is sometimes the toaster you have. Sometimes the toaster could be bad, but if you want a master toast, you should just get like a high level toaster that will really even out the browning of how you want to toast it. That's how I became a toast master. No, I'm just kidding. Toastmasters is cool. My friend used to do it, and it's really, really good thing. James is saying, good game from RJ and Grady yesterday. Grady does so much other than just shooting. I see solid starter potential. Boom goes the dynamite, James. I cannot disagree with you. And I love more and more fleshed out game of Grady on both ends. His leaps and bounds are not just on the offensive end. He's been getting better on the defensive end for sure too. Kareem saying we were so close naming Kelly and Jonte Batman and Robin. Joker won the scene. All right, 3-pointer for Kareem for making a DC Comics allusion or reference. Kareem Thomas, you're at 80 now, my guy. You're 80. Holy crap! You've got 80 dunks for this year already. Holy crap! Yeah, Batman and Robin. Yeah, I guess Kelly would be Batman and Jonte's Robin. I don't know. Tristan's here. Laugh out loud. Best loss of the season. That's right. It's in the title. It's in the title of the stream. The best loss of the season. Good to see you, Tristan. Jill's saying Gary had the foot affliction for a while, and he's getting better again. Though, great luck, Gary. Gary's not that hurt. You think these guys were sitting out because they were hurt? That's part of the reason why people shouldn't be upset. You hear Emmanuel Quickly and Gary Trent and Chris Boucher are out. Chris is legitimately hurt, but IQ and Gary could have played last night. Let's not get this twisted. Seriously. In some ways, like I said a week ago when Scotty hurt his hand, we're going to start being like getting DMPs like the end of the Tampa season. OG doesn't play all of a sudden mysteriously. Gary doesn't play all of a sudden mysteriously. Emmanuel doesn't play all of a sudden mysteriously. RJ doesn't play all of a sudden mysteriously. I mean, this is just going to be the way this is going to go out the rest of the season. Scotty and Jakob will not return. Chris will not return this season. And the rest of the guys will take a carousel of different ones sitting out on different nights just to make it a little bit harder for the Raptors to win. Just a little bit harder. With IQ sitting out and a Gary sitting out. As Michael Malone said, he's like, man, we were getting ready for the Raptors. There's such a high octane up and down the court kind of team. But then when I heard Emmanuel Quickly was out and Gary Trent was out, I was like, well, this is going to be a lot easier. You know, this is going to happen. You may be shocked to see who's out tomorrow all of a sudden. It may be that we're playing pretty much mostly G League guys all of a sudden because nobody's playing. What if all of a sudden Emmanuel, Gary are not back tomorrow? And RJ all of a sudden is not playing either. Just think about that. Seriously. Yeah. It is what it is. Let's see. Tristan saying Jonte on fire from the 3 and giving Jokic trouble. He played him extremely well. And he was hitting his own shot too. His brother's very proud of him. Seeing him make those shots. It was big time shots and high pressure. You know, there's a lot of Nuggets fans who were rooting for Jonte and Bruce Brown last night also. You know, in some ways, there's a love for some of our guys from the other side. Jonte Porter is very much loved by Nuggets Nation. So it is what it is. Most saying, thanks for the Jordan Bolton update. Super different stories, but I follow his progress heavily. We talk quite a bit. Awesome. Yeah, I know they're very different stories, but I'm sure in some ways you guys can relate to each other, obviously. But yeah, he was just a really nice guy. And like, I didn't talk to him for very long. I just wanted to come and give him my respect and say, hey, look, Jordan, I appreciate you. I wanted to send a message a little bit to Gary as far as just saying, you know, listen, Toronto knows that he really is a real one and that he loves the city. And in some ways, we want everything to work out because he's a fan favorite and we want him here in Toronto. I told him that. I say, if we have Gary on our team next year, I will be very, very happy. I know that he works really well with Scotty. Him and Scotty are good friends. And that would be awesome if Gary is in our long-term plan still. And Jordan was like, of course, I want him to be here too. So, you know, I was kind of going there to feel him out on where it seems like with Gary and the Raptors. And it seemed like Jordan was very supportive of Gary's future continuing to be with the Raptors. So that was a good thing. It was a very good thing. It was really cool to meet him. And then, like I said, his mother was very nice too. And just really, really cool to meet King Bolton. Yeah, he's a good dude. He's a really good dude. I'm wishing all the best things for him in the future. All right, Jill's saying that Toastmasters was canceled. Drink water and smash the like button. All right, thanks, Jill. Blackhawk's saying, yes, you can, Lex. coach could communicate without calling a useless timeout. This is why we had very little timeouts for the fourth, where you needed them the most. Maybe we didn't need them, Neil. Once again, what is the point of what we're doing right now? What is the point? What is the point of what we're doing right now? You know what? Listen, we'll just agree to disagree on this, Neil. I have no problem with Coach Darko's timeout style. In fact, it's refreshing. In fact, out of all the coaches I've watched extensively, Raptors coaches, he's my favorite with timeouts. I feel like he's very, very proactive on it. I like the fact that he's very nitpicky and that he wants to get them oriented right as soon as there's any kind of trouble of disorganization or people not getting things done correctly. I think that that's the right way to coach and call timeouts. That's my own personal belief. You can have yours. We can agree to disagree. Jill's saying, yes, it's important to recognize a hot hand. Hot hand. Yeah. Yeah. As per Leo Routens. Yeah. Keep feeding the ball to somebody. If you got an advantage, use it. And a lot of the teams that are playing us right now have a big advantage. And it'd be smart for them to use people like DeAndre Ayton and Nick Yusuf Nurkic against us. In some ways, that's very smart. Yeah. Blackhawks saying there's a big difference between being down 1 possession, 3 possessions, and 10 possessions. You have to manage your timeouts as a coach because there are no extras. Yeah, there can be. You win a challenge, you get an extra timeout. There can be extras. And once again, I will say this. It's much better to head off problems early and let them fester and get worse. In some ways, you spend them early because hopefully by the end of the game, things have been fixed and you won't need those later timeouts. Now, last night's a special case. Honestly, you can't say, oh, we needed timeouts at the end of the game for a certain reason. I didn't even see that in the game last night where that was a problem. I don't understand why you're making this a big deal because honestly, timeouts were not an issue for why we lost last night. The issue was because Denver Nuggets woke up and they decided they wanted to win this game. In some ways, it was their choice. It wasn't anything to do with us. If they had played very well from the beginning of the game, they would have blown us out. In some ways, they were a sleeping giant that got woken up because their coach is like, yeah, we don't need to be losing this team. We're on a playoff run. We're trying to perfect things. Y'all are kind of letting them do things. In some ways, they didn't play correctly in the first half. We played exceptionally hard and very, very well, and we got the lead. In some ways, they were lackadaisical. Well, they woke up. And that's what a lot of people are saying from both sides, whether it's Nugget sides or me on this side, that, you know, it wasn't really us. It's their choice whether they want to go take the game back from us at any point. We can't match their firepower. We can't match their expertise. We can't match their pedigree, as RJ put it after the game. He said, look, we played them so good in the first half. I was proud of what we did in the first half. But the championship pedigree of this group is something that you have to respect and understand that can come mess you up at any time. That's basically what RJ Barrett said after the game. Is the pedigree of this team was shown in how they came back and won this game. I don't think timeouts had anything to do with this. I think it had to do with the fact that they're champions. They know how to win. And if they really wanted to win the game, they knew how to do it. And that's what they did. Yeah, that's what they did. That's what they did. Most saying Chris's comments in reference to Raptors coach's open house. Laugh out loud. Oh, about bringing a camera? Oh, and spying for the Knicks. Oh, yeah, he didn't preface it. That makes more sense. So he's going to bring a spy cam to it? Yeah, don't do shit like that. Seriously, Chris, do you want to get banned from the arena for your life and never be able to go to Raptors game ever again? Like, you do that kind of shit, you get there. I mean, I won't joke about this. Seriously, we're talking about our team and their secrecy and the privacy of their plans and what they want to do. That's why when I say this, I'm not joking. That's not me talking about not taking pictures or doing anything there is very serious because they take it super serious. You can find out when we show up. They have signs all over the doors and they really warn people that this is a serious thing. This is very much a privilege that we're getting to come and witness a closed practice that normally the public, the reporters aren't even allowed to come watch this. They tell a lot of times they tell the reporters to leave during the Raptors practice part. The fans can stay, the people that are there to watch it, but they tell Grange and Aaron Rose and all those fucks to get the fuck out. So I'm telling you, this is a very proprietary, secretive thing that we're going to, and even joking about this. I mean, I can see why you're trying to be funny, but this is serious. I'm being very serious. Jill's saying, Lex, I'm not all emotional. I'm not acting stupid. I watched the Raptors win the ring. I'm not egocentric, and I'm not whining anything all over social media. Well, my responses are not necessarily to you, Jill. And I used you as an example of as a newer fan. I'm saying in general, if you go back and watch my rant from earlier in this stream, it's about newer fans not having a perspective of history to really understand the different modes that a team can be in and why things are the way they are. In some ways, people have unnecessary suffering about last night. That's their own damn choice. That's your own damn choice. I'm not upset about last night. I'm not all crazy and mad and going talking out of pocket online in social media spaces. Jill, you're not doing that either. But you told me you started watching the Raptors during the pandemic. We won the championship before the pandemic, so you're not like being truthful. Either you started watching the Raptors during the pandemic, or you saw them win the ring. I don't know. That's the thing. The pandemic came after the ring. But you told me you got bored during the pandemic. That's why you got into the Raptors. So excuse me for saying you didn't watch the championship run because the timeline of things and how you said it. Let's see. You're not egocentric. No, I'm not saying you're egocentric. I'm saying that the fans that think it's all about the Raptors in this situation and only this Raptors, I'm not saying you're egocentric in your life and yourself. I'm saying as a fan base, we are getting egocentric that it's all only about us. It's not just about us. It was about the Nuggets last night. And some of the other fans need to realize that. And I don't know if you're saying anything online. My response was for newer fans that are online whining and crying about last night. So I'm not even talking to you. I was making an example of the newer fans like you. I was just saying that it could be like that. I'm not saying that you did that specifically. So I don't know. It's a weird rant. You'd probably have to watch what I said earlier to totally understand what I was trying to say. I didn't see you online doing anything like that, but I did see a lot of uneducated fans online saying stupid shit last night. Yeah, they just don't get the whole picture. They don't get the whole picture. Isaac's got Grady on blast and me. Jill saying, sign off now. Have a great day. All right, Jill. Have a good Toastmasters. And Mo's saying, Jill, what Lex is saying, don't read every comment on fans, I believe. Again, keep at it. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm saying. Is like, listen, the comment sections and different places around the Raptors right now are just cesspools of misinformation and dumb opinions. In some ways, like I've said earlier, anybody can get online and write stuff and people will see it at this point. Doesn't mean people need to have their opinions out there because they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. And that is exactly what I'm saying. And Monique is clarifying it. I appreciate that. Country Kong saying Grady's going to be an all-star. His shooting is one thing, but what makes him special is his ability to dribble and pass at 6'8". Think Hero, Tatum, Curry, Larry Bird walked so Grady Dick could run. That's a very dramatic thing to say. I don't know. I don't know if he's the evolution on top of those guys. I'll be happy if he can get near those guys. How about that? I don't know. In some ways, I think that he does have an innate smarts and a couple of seconds ahead of things, just like Scotty, that is really good. JP, that play where he grabbed the ball out of the air on defense when they tried to pass it over his head, that was a really big play right there that shows a little bit of an acumen and a reflexive response to get stuff done to make things happen. I love it. I love it. All right, I'm at the end of the chat. Thank God, because I'm way over. I didn't expect to go this long. So let me just wrap things up real quick. 5 stars of the game. I gave them 5 because I feel like they deserve it against the team they played in the first half. RJ Barrett, Kelly Olynyk, Grady Dick, Jonte Porter, and Jalen McDaniels. My 3 stars for the loss for the 905 and Osceola, McCurr, Kobe Simmons, and Daryl Morsell. Yeah, it's tough. Both teams lost last night, and it's too bad. If you guys have a Yahoo Fantasy team, take care of it. We just started a new week. We only have 2 weeks left in the regular season. So there's kind of like grudge matches near the end here. I'll be playing David next week. David is playing his brother this week. And that's a very, very tough matchup, the 1 versus the 2. Both teams 17-2. Well, something's going to break at the end of this week between David and Peter Saborin, the marquee matchup in our fantasy league this week. So, yeah, this week and next week, and then boom, we're in the playoffs, guys, with our fantasy basketball league. Yeah. The NBA saying 20 points is the old 12. Why no lead is safe in the NBA anymore? Well, we got that evidence last night in the game against the Nuggets. That's just how it goes. All right, y'all. Thanks for watching me today. I'll be back tomorrow with a preview for both the games, Osceola Magic and Raptors 905, a second match, and also the Raptors finishing up the road trip with their last stop in Detroit before they come back to Toronto to play again on Friday. Yeah, Friday's the next game here back. All right. I appreciate everybody. I know I'm feisty. I know y'all are feisty too. I just want people to just get the right head on their shoulders for how they're viewing the Raptors right now. In some ways, education and educated on NBA and rosters and franchises and their the way that they develop and take time to do things is important. And there's a lot of people out there espousing a lot of opinions all over social media that don't know what the fuck they're talking about. They really, really don't. So it's good to be educated. And if you don't know what you're talking about, maybe shut the fuck up. That's what I have to say. All right. Thanks, everybody. Let's go, Grady. Let's go, Jonte. Let's go, RJ. Let's go, Kelly. Let's win a lot more. I stand with my coach. If you don't stand with your coach, well, you don't stand with the Raptors. You don't decide whether that coach is good or not. We know this coach is good. Masai knows this coach is good. Scotty knows this coach is good. So, keyboard warrior that's in the chat of the comments of the Raptors media availability last night with Coach Darko talking about the game, you fucking don't know what you're talking about, you pieces of shit. And that's who I'm telling to shut up right now. All right, I appreciate everybody, and I'll be back tomorrow. Let's go, Raptors. Let's go. Let's go, Raptors. Let's go. Let's go.